Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Come on and have a seat, folks, on the C3 Therapy Couch. Copays are welcome. Tonight's show, micromanagement or mismanagement, or I actually titled it Micromanagement or Incompetence. The C3 Panthers Podcast is back at it again on a Tuesday night. Longest running Panthers podcast around. It's difficult. It's difficult getting ready for this show, trying to think of what to talk about, how to talk about it, and how to think. And I think what's really most daunting about this night tonight as I tried to figure out how to generate excitement or energy or even real discussion of things that we haven't talked about ad nauseum on this program is the idea that we're going to have to do this for 12 more weeks, probably a very identical discussion going forward. Guys, tonight we've got, though, still things to talk about. Is Frank Reich, is he a patsy? Is he a wet noodle? Is he a fall guy? Is he a yes man? Who's on the chopping block? Is Frank Reich, Scott Fitterer? Are they on the chopping block? Will Scott Fitterer make it through the bye week? How involved is David Tepper, folks? More and more news coming out, not only from speculation from fans, speculation from league sources, but straight from Frank Reich's mouth about the involvement of David Tepper's weekly interactions and meddling with the team. How much is that a part of the Carolina Panthers' failures at this point, or is it adding undue pressure? The ping pong table is still pinging and ponging in the background. Miles Sanders not doing well after a week of fumbles. He's taken the brunt of some Panther fan ire, should we say, and rightfully so. And then Terrace Marshall Jr., another lost player. Somehow Frank Reich is always, he's the dad that chaperones a trip with the kids and loses a kid at the zoo. He loses a kid at the zoo and there's a panic. It's like, where is Terrace? Where's Terrace? I can't find, he was just here last week. He was just here last week. The week before it was Adam Thielen. Where's Adam? Where's Adam? Guys, where are y'all at? Smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the C3 Panthers podcast. The number's 252-228-5098. I know where Cody Lashney's at. He's my wheel man. He's to my left. I guess on my screen, you're to my left, to the left of me, to the right of me. That's my wheel man, Cody Lashney. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Listen, I'm public enemy number one. Everybody got something to say to me, man, and I'm here for it. Listen, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan through and through. That will never change, but you can only handle so much incompetence on top of incompetence on top of incompetence, man. I mean, you have Frank Reich forgetting to put a player in the game. You have Hayden Hurst now talking more audibly about stepping up and being a leader. Tony, we had fans in our comment section under the last post-game show, Panther fans that were there for the Lions game in Detroit, and they were saying in the comments that the Panthers felt like they had zero energy to the football team, that nobody was playing for one another. It's tough times right now in C3 Panther Nation, but you know what? We're going to do this together like we always do with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You know them and love them. It's our guy, Drew, Billy Hall, Brandon R., Chase Hawkins, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, JB, Making True Money, Muscles, Marinara, Paisan, Patty Grimes, Raleigh Lee, Roosevelt Mongo, The Stats, Tim Estes, and Supreme Lita Z, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
We need you folks more than ever Billy Hall with a great donation, support of the podcast with this super chat. He says, while it's hard to be a Panther fans these days, real fans don't jump ship. Keep pounding, guys. Long road ahead. We need you guys. We don't need you. Not only do we not need you jumping ship on the Carolina Panthers, we need you to lock arms with us as we continue to march down this road. It is a long road, Billy. It is a long road, but we're going to walk it together. Go ahead, smash the thumbs up button. Remember, you can call in at 252-228-5098. We're really close to giving away a Jonathan Mingo jersey this past week as a near connection in the end zone between Bryce Young and the rookie Jonathan Mingo. That's all it takes right now for one C3 superfan to get a Jonathan Mingo jersey. You can be a C3 superfan by contributing just $1. You hit the join button. $1.99 support of a month continues to grow this podcast as we expand our content, expand our reach, and try to build a culture, build a foundation, a culture in the midst of adversity. CK, the year of 20C3 was not what I wanted it to be.
Well, it's not what you wanted it to be yet, right? I mean, there's still some hope, man. There's some things to look forward to. And so, listen, I mean, if nothing else, you guys can enjoy your fantasy seasons.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know how you
drafted
doing.
Miles Sanders.
Oh yeah, that's true, dude. I'm telling. Like, listen, I know that we are in a tailspin down to the earth. But I tell you what, this past week was incredible for me. My fantasy team went
Did you set like a all-time fantasy record
on for our squad because we do the legacy? The all-time highest scoring team week I had this week. I had DJ Moore, Jamar Chase. Those guys both alone got me 50. I had Justin
Jamar
Fields.
Chase had that's 6 touchdowns between 2 guys.
Oh, just wait. I have George Kittle, who had his first touchdown of the season, and it happened to be 3 of them in one night. I had Justin Fields. I had Adam Thielen. I had I can't remember who I had.
Who cares after that point?
Dude, I was at 200. I scored 240 points, and we don't even do a kicker league. We only start 8. We don't even start 9 with a kicker.
I ran into a Jalen Hurts team this week. It hurt. Yeah, tough. Jalen Hurts and those guys unstoppable with that 1-yard push play.
Unreal.
Gosh, I wonder what it's like to be a fan of the 49ers or the Philadelphia Eagles right now.
The perennial contenders, dude. Like, it's just so like the Eagles didn't used to be perennial contenders. Let's be real about it.
But it started with Frank Reich.
Right. Well, sort of.
Doug Peterson, right?
Doug Peterson. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that with Carson Wentz and what have you. But, man, but it does give you hope, man. You can be a really bad team and still become a steady contender. Now, don't look at the Bengals and hope for that to be the case because they are not doing very well right now.
Up and down for them.
But
tough to go to England.
And back, he had a great game and threw 3 touchdowns to Jamar Chase.
Yeah, but the Bills, had to go to across the pond, and the Jags, were there for a whole 2 weeks, man, acclimating. Should have seen that coming. I tell you, I'm really bad at this football thing. These picking these games.
Same.
Man, I just it doesn't matter what you expect. Maybe that's our hope right now. Maybe that is our hope because there should be no way the Carolina Panthers win against the Miami Dolphins coming this week. But strangely, the over-under in this game is lower than you would anticipate, or at least that I anticipate. It's only 43 points, I think. Right? How about that? A total 43 points scored in this. If the Panthers can score 10, I think you call the over on that. Something's going on. Something's afoot. Vegas.
They know something.
Yeah. They're like, oh, crap. Carolina's going to come out with a vendetta trying to save their reputation.
I know this is taking a spin, but have we still not heard anything about JC?
JC who?
Horn.
Oh, yeah, you've heard that his ass is hurt.
What, JC?
Yeah,
But that's what I mean.
exactly.
Is like we were told that it was like a 4-week thing, and right now it would be right there at that.
He's done for the season, bro.
You think so?
Yes. That
It would
shit
say-
snapped. He had you remember what Aaron Rodgers' Achilles looked like when you saw that little wobble? That's what his hamstring probably did.
So then why didn't they put him on season-ending IR?
Yeah, that's a better move.
I think he doesn't want to go. I think that it's, by the way, Justin Jefferson suffered a hamstring injury. He's seeking that second opinion. I think Horn really wants to come back and play, just because he needs to.
Does he really?
He has to defeat the injury bug narrative.
Yeah, exactly. If he's
it's
out,
not for the team; it's for himself.
If he's played 3 seasons and only been on the field for 6 games, I mean that's going to be again. I don't. That was an exaggeration on the number there. I'm sure he's played a little bit more than that, but like that's certainly going to be a tick against his "I'm not injury prone" conversations.
Yeah,
he gets mad on Twitter when people indicate that he's injury prone.
Yeah, man, he's he's feeling some kind of way, and you got to know that frustration. You feel for a guy right there where you do all the right things, and it just is like, I'm telling you, man. Listen to that Albert King song. This guy's been down since he learned how to crawl. He is. If he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. The Carolina Panthers have some bad luck, but they also have some poor leadership, it seems like, and poor ownership. And as this whole thing is spiraling out of control, David Tepper is out there pitching his new practice facility for his real football team, that MLS team. I don't even know. I don't even care what the name. What's the name of the team again?
It's just the Charlotte MLS, right?
Charlotte FC.
Charlotte FC. Charlotte.
I don't even care, man. It's like, oh, we're developing. You know what? David Tepper brought music to Charlotte. Now he brought neighborhoods to Charlotte. He's developing neighborhoods out there. The Carolina Panthers are struggling. They're falling apart. And you got to wonder how and when, who will be the sacrifice. I don't like to use those terms of football gods because I'm Catholic and I feel like even just joking in those terms. But who do you sacrifice at the altar to the fans? That's who it is. The football gods are the fans out there who are not actually God. We're not gods. We are the peasants at the gates. If you think like we want some blood, who will the Carolina Panthers sacrifice? Will Scott Fitterer make it through the bye week? Will Frank Reich make it past year 1? All of these things rest in the hand of a man who is very involved, David Tepper. We'll be getting into that tonight. The number's 252-228-5098. Don't forget the show's sponsored by Caldera Labs. Caldera Labs, twice a day men's skin product, or twice a day regimen that helps slow the wrinkles, fight the aging process, and you're going to need it, folks. You know who needs calderalab.com/C3 to get his 20% discount? That is Frank Reich. Frank Reich going to get older. He's getting older and older and tired by the moment, but I think I am too. That's why I'm using my Caldera Lab products. I wake up in the morning, I use the facial cleanse. I love the lotion, right? Because they get you to clean the face. It tightens up. You can feel it tighten up immediately too. It's kind of wild. And then you get the lotion. It's not the dry. You don't get the dryness. It eliminated blackheads. It got rid of that oily feeling that comes with this Italian skin. At night, you can put on this serum. You got the eye cream. But I need a lot of it because I'm crying every day. CalderalLab.com/C3 gets you 20% off your order. You're going to want a discount, folks. You're going to want a discount because right now we're paying the price in other ways. We are paying the price as fans. We're paying the price. And David Tepper's just raking in the freaking money. And we're just crying our eyes out. So as you try to fight those tears, as you try to fight the aging process that the Carolina Panthers bring you, check out calderalab.com/C3. Make sure you hit that /C3 to get that 20% off and help us continue to keep this program rocking and rolling down this hard road. Guys, let's go ahead and jump into the show. Right now is micromanagement incompetence or incompetence. Is it micromanagement and incompetence? Is it micromanagement and mismanagement? Right now, the continued news is coming out that the Carolina Panthers, that David Tepper is a meddler. Now, meddler might be too nice. So we're going to get into that. But we brought in the super squad of coaches, guys. We brought in, and I can't tell you how unprepared I was. I thought the Indy fans were exaggerating. I thought the Indy fans that were talking junk about Frank Reich were just kind of butthurt because they hadn't been good. I thought that Frank Reich had managed through some difficult times when you had he took the job on short notice after Josh McDaniels was first offered the job. Had some success with Andrew Luck, but then he had some success with Phillip Rivers. Had to deal with was it Tyrod Taylor? It was one of those guys. It wasn't Tyrod Taylor. It was the other one.
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, same guy to me. Right, Jacoby Brissett. Then he had to go and try with Carson Wentz, and none of this kind of worked out. That kind of rotation of journeyman old quarterbacks that the Panthers, I felt like we're starting to get into that rut right there. I thought that was a problem or a part of the problem. I thought that the owner, I mean, they had a GM who was very he's an egomaniac in so many ways. So I thought that the Colts fans were, a little exaggerative of what was going on with Frank Reich. We used to make fun of Matt Rule and for the dumb mistakes and the dumb things he did week to week. I'm starting to wonder if we should be like debuting a Frank fuck up section. So, a Frank fuck up.
What did Frank forget this week?
Yes, that's it.
No,
it is.
It's got to be a Frank wrong.
Frank wrong, not right. I like what did Frank forget this week? It's been from.
He forgot a whole player, man.
It's been clock management, right? It's been poor clock management. It's drawing up a play for one player and Adam Thielen in the past who wasn't on the field in that. And now Terrace Marshall Jr., who led the team in receptions against the Minnesota Vikings, says he has no clue why he didn't play a single snap. The only active player to not play a single down, Terrace Marshall Jr., got lost at the zoo. Frank Reich was taking the kindergarten class, and his little child, Bryce, he had to make sure little Bryce, it's like, where's little Bryce at? Where's little Bryce? Oh, Bryce, do you want some French fries, Bryce? Oh, Bryce, what do you need, Bryce? And then they get to the lion exhibit. Every kid's there. Every kid's excited. That's what you wanted to go see. You want to go see the lions. You want to go see the tigers. Where's Terrace at? We lost Terrace. Where the hell is Terrace at? Terrace Marshall Jr., the leading reception guy. And this is ridiculous. I hate how they've been phrasing that. He had the most catches. Yeah, he had the most catches, but he only had 56 yards 2 weeks ago against the Vikings. But he was missing in action, and Terrace Marshall Jr. says he has no clue why the Panthers didn't play him. And Cody, they asked Frank Reich, why didn't you play him? What do you have to say?
Yeah, he basically said, he just plumb forgot. Hey, man, so listen, one, it says a little bit about TMJ, that he's that forgettable as a player that you can even be forgotten on the sideline. But when asked about it, Frank Reich said it was my fault that Terrace Marshall Jr. didn't appear in the game. I did not do a good job of telling our coaches this is what I would like to see. He should get some play time. And again, man, I mean, you mentioned that he was he led the Panthers receivers in receptions against Minnesota. You need more playmakers out there, and you just refuse to play Terrace Marshall Jr. I mean, at this point, it really does make you embarrassed that he has the number 88, the same number that Greg Olsen had, man. He's not worthy of that number. I was excited about Terrace Marshall Jr. and his potential. But Tony, right now, these coaches are so bad. Even if we had a Justin Jefferson on the team,
they might have forgotten.
I'm not entirely sure that the coaches would put him in the right spot, dude. They don't inspire a lot of confidence And I'll try and find the video of it while you guys give your thoughts and opinions. But okay, this is pretty embarrassing, man. I don't know how many times a coach has ever just flat out forgotten to put a player in the game, man. Have you ever heard anything like that ever before?
TK, look at this comment from KG73. She said, imagine showing up, giving your all every day, knowing there's a chance the head coach might just forget you exist.
Oh, man, dude. That's just gotta be like, I am a Terrace Marshall, like, hopeful. I'm an eternal optimist, some might even say. Like,
I gave up on it this year.
Like, I mean, well, no, I was on top of it, like, personally, this year, because I felt like, this is the year that he breaks out, right? He's got Bryce Young, he's got all these pieces, and he's got Frank Reich. I mean, these guys are going to recognize his potential. Dude's come in here and just, like, not existed. And now, to be on that side of things, I don't know if it's a matter of him or if it's just because everybody else looks bad, right? They're not even giving him an opportunity. I'm not sure what his snap counts are. I don't know if he's being even considered a first or second read in these routes. So, I mean, I'm not sure.
On this day, he was considered a 0.
Exactly. And so we'll see, man. It certainly doesn't bode well for the outlook of Terrace Marshall Jr. I have him on my bench in my fantasy league, just waiting for the moment he breaks out, and it's not happening.
Yeah, you can wait. Don't hold your breath on that one, my friend. I wonder too, though, is this Frank Reich clumsily taking the fall for this? Is that I think he should just. I don't know if Frank Reich's too honest or too nice.
I think all can be real,
or maybe both. Is that because you're saying this is like Terrace Marshall Jr., if you haven't gotten your number called at all, should all of a sudden be standing right beside Thomas Brown or right behind Frank Reich. And anytime something good's happening, trying to high five Frank Reich, like, hey, remember me? Remember me? And then on the other hand, he's saying, I got to convey to our coaches this we want. Like, and I know it's easy to just say Frank is sorry, and Thomas Brown will be so much better. I do think that Frank might have just too much on his plate at this moment. But like, why didn't anybody go, hey, like no one even just said, Frank, let's get 88 in. DJ Shark ain't doing shit. Mingo ain't doing much. Let's give 88 a try. Why does he have to tell the coach? Like, what are they actually doing then?
Well, you said it was a miscommunication. Like, my question is like, what if, and there's only one answer to this, and it's that the coaches don't believe in him, right? There's only one reason why, even if Frank wanted him to play and he didn't tell his coaches that he wanted Terrace Marshall to get some reps, the fact that his coaches didn't put him in doesn't speak well for him either.
And you just forgot about him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Is like, dang, you're the kid that no one remembered in the back of the class. And because he hasn't raised his hand enough this year. Cody, did you find the clip of Frank Reich? Because it's actually even more bizarre when you hear his explanation of why they kind of overlooked him.
Yep, I just found it.
Nice. Perfect timing right here.
Literally.
Frank Reich is asked about where was Terrace Marshall Jr. in this, and he did take the fall for it. I like that, but wait until you hear the explanation of why he was overlooked.
That he should have played. He should have played some. So I wish he had gotten in there a little bit more. That's my fault. I need to make sure. After the week he had the week before with the 9 catches and got a little momentum going, and he and I had a conversation, and so that was poor communication by me. I wanted to make sure that our guys knew to kind of make sure he had some playing time and that there would be opportunities. So that was my fault.
Oh, this wasn't
that
the
was
one.
true.
There's another clip. There's a second clip where he says, we essentially got wrapped up in the game plan that was created in the mindset of when Terrace Marshall was hurt. So it's like, hey, well, he was injured a couple of weeks ago.
So we didn't
just
have
kinda-
to think about
So
him.
we didn't think about him, and then he came back, and I guess we should be thinking about him, but we just implemented the game plan without Terrace Marshall.
It's so dumb. And by the way, if that was real, why would you admit that out loud?
That's where I think he's
Like,
not.
how do
I
you
think
think
he's
that it
too
makes you
honest
look
and
good?
too nice. Yeah, is that at that point you should just say, you know what, you should lie. You should just
Yeah,
lie
like,
and lie by omission, right? It's just say, the flow. Remember how we said the flow when we called 58 passing plays, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Why the hell didn't you?" He was like, "Well, this is the flow of the game, man. It's the flow of the game." It's just been like,
But
yo.
don't
flow
we
of the
also
game.
agree that it's probably an effort to try to make Terrace Marshall feel a little bit better as well? Like it's if he
No,
just said,
I
that
think this
doesn't
makes
make
him
you
feel
feel better
worse.
if you say you forgot
I had a
about him.
conversation. Was the CK? Do you think when he said I had a conversation with him? Do you think that was before or after the game? Like, do you think he talked to him last week and it was like, yeah, man, you did a great job, 9 catches, and
That's
then
what
he
he said-
forgot
he
about him,
alluded to.
or did he have a catch? Was the conversation on Monday like, my bad, I forgot about you?
it sounded like he was talking about they had a conversation before the game about how good he performed in against the Vikings. I don't know if I really don't know the answer to that question.
Where's
I
that
don't
Parks
think-
Frazier guy at? That's Caroline Can's husband, who's the passing game coordinator. Where the hell is Thomas Brown here saying, look, dude, come on, Frank. It's all such a I think it's real easy to shit on Frank, and I think Frank's taking the shit. And he should, right? I mean, he ultimately should. I don't think he should defer the shit to other people, but like, he can't be the only person culpable here.
No, I mean, but there's a lot of culpability to go around. Zero Evero needs to have some fire slung on him. This defense looks absolutely pathetic.
I mean,
You don't got no players, though, dude.
Yeah, okay, but even still, it's like, yeah, but Tony, you can say that about the offense and the defense.
Oh, we have been.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, there has to be enough room to go around for everybody. Everybody can get this smoke, all right? It doesn't matter what, if you're on the defensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball, everyone is underperforming to painful levels. Nobody thought the team would be this bad, even if you expected us to have ups and downs. No one expected us to be one of the worst teams in football.
Right. Put me at the front of that line, Cody.
Also, to all the people that were not confident moving to a 3-4 defense, how is this supposed to instill any type of confidence? Like, you had to know going into this year that you didn't have the requisite pieces in order to field a proper 3-4 defense.
But you have to make the switch at some time. I thought the pains would be there. Cody, for me, I'm at the front of the line of the person you just said. The person that thought there would be some struggles and some challenges, but what I was heartened by, or the positive thing going in, was I just continued to say that the problem with the rule era was a lack of experience. And then you brought in all of this experience, and you look inexperienced.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, this is like, look, it's okay. Look, we were critical on some small things with Matt Rule, like, it's like, oh, here's clock management, here's a put, but it wasn't like, oh, I forgot about this motherfucker.
No.
And
it sounds like what's that McCarthy dude that was like zonked out at the podium and like,
no, it's
McConnell, Mitch
Reed.
McConnell.
Oh yeah, Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell.
It just seems like, bro, are you really of age to be doing this right now?
I think Panther Pickle, though, is bringing up something that is a real legitimate conversation we had. Look, is that bringing in a coaching staff together? They're gonna a new coaching staff. A lot of these guys haven't. Any of them have never really worked together, but maybe a couple. Is that there is going to be the need to gel, right? Like, as a time, just like the players and the team are going to come together. The staff is going to have to come together. But we thought that they had been so experienced and professional that would be less difficult than maybe for some college coaches coming in. But Panther Pickle brings this up: is ultimately, are there too many cooks in the kitchen? Are there too many Chiefs, not enough Indians?
or just the wrong head chef. Maybe the sous chef needs to be the head chef.
Or maybe the manager or the owner's coming in
Incompetent.
and he's like, hey, but can I remind you guys that our owner puts ketchup on a steak? So imagine if you walked into Gordon Ramsay's restaurant. You're the owner. You own the restaurant. Gordon Ramsay is your head chef. He makes this whole damn thing. He goes, all right, Gordon, I think what we should do,
pass me that Heinz ketchup, baby.
Give me some ketchup. I think this, you know what, this is a great dish. I think we're heading in the right direction, Gordon. But this could really benefit from some ketchup.
Yeah, dude. It's past that A1 steak sauce for my Wagyu A5 beef. Yeah, dude. It's pretty embarrassing right now. And listen, there's literally nothing that you can say to defend this coaching staff because of the fact that we are 0-5 right now, staring down 0-6. I mean, we're getting ready to play the Miami Dolphins. Spoiler alert. None of us are picking the Panthers to beat Miami. No one is.
I'm not picking the Panthers to win another game until they at least win one.
Oh, dude. And oh man, I can't go there yet. I can't go there yet. We're not at that part of the show. I can't go there yet. But tell you what we can do is say that some of these players, they're upset like we are, man. They really are. And one of those people is Hayden Hurst. And Hayden Hurst is now saying that he has not been a part of the season like this before. And here's why he needs to be more vocal as the team heads into week 6. I'd have to find that clip if you want.
All right. Well, yeah, I do want you to find that clip if you can, just momentarily as I kind of cue this up. Can we remind you guys that Hayden Hurst played for the Falcons? You know, I mean, he played with the Bengals, but he came in as a rookie. I think he started with a rookie at the Ravens. Now the Ravens are a perennial playoff team, but they then went to the Falcons, and he went to the Falcons, I think, in some down years. I mean, that's post. I mean, you're talking like Matt Ryan on the ass. So, you know, he was in the Falcons haven't been good since they went to the Super Bowl. And this mug is right here saying, it's wild when you say I've never been a part of something like this. To hear a pro say something like that. And I know you've never been part maybe of an 0-5 start, but you have been a part of some kind of adversity and some different things.
Yeah.
And let's hear what he has to say, and then we'll go to what really fires me.
Yeah, this is Hayden Hurst.
I'm not. It's just new to me, but you know, at the end of the day, 0-5, the record, I don't care. I'm just gonna go back to work. I'm starting to be more vocal. It's like I said, I don't care who we're playing. I don't care what our record is. I just want to see guys compete. I'm not trying to preach at guys. You know, I still have stuff to clean up myself, but you know, I think in my 6 years in the NFL, it's never been a lack of effort. It's just, like I said, I don't care 0-5, 5-0. Like, I'm going to go out there and compete. So I just expect the same out of everybody else.
Is this a lack of effort?
No, it's just, like I said, cleaning up details, just getting stuff going. When stuff doesn't go your way as far as like schematics and the plays don't look great, I mean, you can still put effort on tape. And I think that's the message that we're trying to send is just effort.
So when you say those types of things, I think what Hayden Hurst is also implying is that there's going to have to be some soul searching from every player on that team to dig down deep, to find that inner resolve, and to go out there and grit, grind, and man up. The problem that I fucking have with this, Cody, is the audible insult in the background to that. He's somber. He's serious. He wants to be better. And then in the background, these motherfuckers are laughing and ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong.
I want to burn it. I want to take the ping pong tables, bring it out to the 50-yard line at the practice field, and burn that shit right in front of them, dude. You want to play ping pong? Nah, you're not paid to play ping pong. You're professional fucking football players, and you're 0-5. Why is it now through 2 coaching staffs we're still listening to that stupid ping pong table in the background,
3
bro.
coaching staffs. 3.
Oh my god!
Now look
dude.
about this. Now I put this up. I put this up on the Twitter, on the X. And here's some of the comments I got back. AA Armbuster, Alex Armbuster says this: no one is losing because of the ping pong table in the locker room. Other comments. Glenn Crawford though says, seriously though, how they got that goddamn ping pong table in there? That's on coaching, Tony. Yes, all right. So some people, yes, it drives me nuts. Start winning, make a culture. Then we can talk about having the ping pong table. But this was a lot of it was, I wonder if the 49ers have it. Well, no, it was hold on. There's a lot of people defending it. Where are these almost?
It's so stupid.
Oh,
man.
I'm not telling grown men how to blow off steam. That's weirdo activity. And then there are a lot of people saying, well, actually, maybe I felt like there was a lot of other people saying that it's not a big deal.
Every time I mention the ping pong table, there's always people like, it's not a big deal. Dude, you are the worst team in football who does not have a first round draft pick, and yet you're playing ping pong table in the background. Get the fuck out. I'd be a villain as a coach in a minute, and I'd say, hey, you want to be mad at me? Fine, be mad at me. Maybe you'll play with a chip on your shoulder now that Papa took away your toys. All right, it's time.
I'd rather for the coach. I'd rather for the players to fucking do it.
Yeah, there's
you know, it's like if somebody did mention this, is it was probably Miles Sanders back there playing ping pong, and this was great. Somebody said, I love this tweet. This is from @Panthers _fan_85. He said, any one of them motherfuckers could probably shred Forrest Gump in ping pong.
Dude, I tell you what, they sure get enough practice. Bro, I'm telling you, man.
I just felt like it was such a look. I don't really care about that. Like, it's not like me going, "Oh, we got to discipline this." It's just I feel like it's such a real audible juxtaposition of what is going on with the team.
No, Tony, everyone's there to collect a paycheck. It legit feels like no one cares to be there. Like everyone knows that they're gonna lose. They're going to show up. They're going to do whatever BS the coaches are telling them to do. But at the end of the day, yeah, if they want to blow off some steam at the fucking ping pong table, good. In my mind, you're not in this building and not doing something to dedicate yourself to getting better playing football. Because as of right now, that's not what they're doing. They're not doing that at all. And then, by the way, I mentioned it at the start of the show, Tony. Why is it that we have Panther fans in Detroit leaving us messages in our comment section telling us how there's zero energy to the guys on the sideline? Nobody fights like they want it. No one presents themselves like they're mad at this team for laying eggs week in and week out. There's no leadership on that team, and you're right. The fact that not a one player has come forward and said, all right, boys, enough of the ping pong, enough of the, trash can basketball or dartboards or foosball or whatever the fuck they're playing. It's time to dedicate ourselves to business, man. And y'all might think we're being petty right now, but dude, when we're listening to every interview and you hear that God-forsaken clipping and clopping,
I love to play ping pong
personally. It's so ridiculous, man.
It's just, I don't want the coaches to do it. I want the players to not pick up the paddle. I don't even want a player to go chastise a guy. I want a guy to say, you know what? Fuck this. I ain't playing no games until I win a game. I mean, anyway, it's just like joking around. And I know you can't just all be, you don't want everybody to just be down in the dumps and this and that. But I just feel like it's just such a, it's just throwing it in our face, particularly us who are listening. And maybe I'm just I'm making this about me. But we're sitting here dying, trying to find any gleam of fucking hope in this. And then you hear Hayden Hurst coming out saying, we got to commit with some resolve. And you're like, oh, okay, man, I'm going to use this clip in the podcast. Ping pong, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. Fuck. And I will point out this. Michael Mayer has only had 2 targets all season. So it's not just here that tight ends are getting overlooked. All right, what do we got next?
Next up,
Ping pong, ping pong, ping
on the docket.
Can you change that? I screwed it up. If you can change the
No,
view.
you're good. All right. So, and I can even play a clip in accordance with this. So this is Frank Reich talking. He says, some owners stay away and don't engage. Others do. And his philosophy is he's going to engage. This is Frank Reich talking about David Tepper. I have the clip of this as well, and I want you all to hear it. And this will kind of lead us into the conversation that we're really going to be having tonight. Is David Tepper just another meddlesome version of Jerry Jones without all the championships? So they're already talking to Frank Reich about the conversations that he's had with David Tepper. And this is what Frank Reich had to say.
Tepper have an open line of communication. What is your dialogue with him been like?
Talk to him every week, multiple times. Usually talk either Monday or Tuesday after a game. And he's super competitive. He wants to bring a winner to the Carolinas. He's wants it now. Wants it now, and pushes me and pushes us to that end. He wants to do whatever it takes and turn over every stone, churn it as much as he has to produce winning football. So I appreciate those conversations. They're always very challenging. He's a super competitive person, and he's not going to sit idly by.
So he's not going to sit idly by. He's pushing them to win right now. But you won't push them to get that fucking ping pong table out of there, will it? Anyway, CK, it's one of those things, man, where when you're already talking to your coach about what his conversations are like with the owner, you know that changes are on the way. I mean, without question that changes are on the way, because why else would you be bringing in the guy that just spent all the buku bucks on this coaching staff to be able to compete? And I'm going to wait until Tony gets back till we really go into it. But it is my theory, and the theory of many others, that David Tepper has forced numerous different things through Fitterer onto this coaching staff. And I'm a firm believer that David Tepper feels like he knows the right shots to call. The man became a billionaire, for God's sakes. But, CK, let me ask you, man, what is your inclination about David Tepper throwing his weight around and being the one to make decisions for this team?
I think it's not unheard of for an owner to be overly involved in who their team decides to take. I am of the mind that David Tepper's involvement in that should probably be a bit more limited than what it was. But it's so hard to say, man. Like, on one hand, when you do that, you're giving like Matt Rule a pass, right? Well, how much did Matt Rule really how much did he really have control over this? But on the other hand, like, you're taking a lot of the blame away from David Tepper for where we're at as well. I think all things can be true. It doesn't have to be solely one reason or one piece of this. I think there's probably a truth to the fact that Tepper was preferring Bryce Young. And I don't think the gap between Stroud and Bryce Young was worth them going against what the owner was saying. It's certainly not as big of a gap as we've been noticing.
Yeah. Tony, you brought this to my attention, this video clip that we're going to show here of Rich Eisen. But I have taken a lot of flack on Twitter. And by the way, thank you to everybody on Twitter that supports your boy and defends me for speaking my truth on the social medias. But people get real mad when you start to insinuate that this coaching staff was in on a certain quarterback over the one that we have right now. So what I would like to bring your attention to is none other than Rich Eisen, who you know has a bunch of connects. And he had something funny to say on his show today.
It lends credence to what's kind of an open secret in the league right now. And I don't know if
We'll start it over.
it lends credence to what's kind of an open secret in the league right now. And I don't know if this is, in fact, the case. And I don't usually traffic in this sort of stuff, but I'll throw it out because this is what you quote unquote hear, is that they were sold on Stroud and the owner wasn't. And the owner wanted Bryce Young.
Interesting.
Ooh.
And it can't help that CJ Stroud has yet to throw a pick and he is lights out.
That's the whole point here.
Wow.
And so I'm just wondering, you know, if there's a hot seat there, they would be, I'll just say this, very foolish to one and done Frank Reich.
Well, what if it's for Bill Belichick?
Dun, dun, dun.
Would you really, is that what is that another open secret?
Now, look, I pretty much said this verbatim on Twitter. I've now said it on the podcast. And all the Bryce Young super truthers get all pissed off at me and think that I'm calling Bryce a bust for speaking at the obvious. We saw the coaching staff at CJ Stroud's pro day, and they were fawning all over him. The arm talent, the mobility, the leadership. It was not a surprise. Everyone knew that Frank Reich likes big, strong quarterbacks. That is all he has ever had before.
Joe Person said this. We highlighted this a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I think. He went on the Adam Gold show and did an interview. And he said, look, I don't have any hard evidence, but we know that Frank Reich's type.
Yeah.
And we also know that David Tepper was into Bryce Young. So I mean, and look, as KG73 is saying, bro, it said it's a rumor. And he did, like he said, look, I don't want to do, but he said an open secret too. You know, and that is like
in that clip said he keeps hearing. Why would he say that this is something that he keeps hearing?
It's kind of like where there's smoke, there's fire on this one.
Yeah.
You know, is that and it really has less to do with because I think that, look, is that this had to have been a consensus pick, right? Is that, and we'll go, I mean, and this is really the question here is, did David Tepper want Bryce and did this coaching staff not? And is that leading to some of the problems? I think that's overcomplicating it in some ways. Is that I think that if you are coaching staff, like, and you are coming in on this, is you got to be vocal and backbone enough if you're convicted to say what you think and do what you say. I think that if you were, I think that you should also be able to prosper with Bryce Young, regardless if you had an affinity for CJ Stroud. And just because CJ Stroud is having success doesn't mean that Bryce Young won't have it or isn't a very good prospect.
Right.
Really, this has less to do with if we got the right quarterback, but more to do with how much influence does David Tepper have on not only the day-to-day operations, but in the mental. He's like in their head. He's living, I won't say rent-free. He's paying the rent. But he's living in their heads, and I've brought this up several times on the show. When you're with people that are this powerful, this financial, in this case, in our world now, money is the real power, right? Even more so than influence of things, is that you're trying to stay ahead of what they want. You don't say, "Oh, do you want Bryce or do you want CJ Stroud?" You're trying to read every tick and tea leaf and every facial expression. And what we know is that in some ways is, look, Tepper isn't a football guy. So many people are talking shit about our podcast and everything about like, well, you guys never play football. I'm sorry, mister. You played football in high school. So you obviously know how to run a pro football team.
You know so
and do
much.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay. But it's not like David Tepper played any fucking football either. And he's running the show. There is smoke. There's fire, and I don't want to get too far into who was the right pick or what did Frank Reich want somebody. I think it's more of we're just going to do whatever makes Tepper happy. And if we come back, and I wanted to ask this, guys, well, first let's bring this up. This is from today's press conference or yesterday's press conference when they were asking about how much interaction Frank Reich has with David Tepper, and he's having these weekly meetings. He said that they come on Mondays. Sometimes they, because Monday's so busy, they happen on Tuesdays. But he says he's super competitive. Now, this is Frank Reich talking about David Tepper. Now the media is asking these questions openly in these press conferences. First, don't just say like all of a sudden we're the ones making these rumors up.
Yeah, when I say it, I'm a villain. I'm a conspiracy theorist.
The media is now asking.
Media does it. They're asking legit questions. Yo, my crippled ball sack, bro.
Frank Reich says this. He's super competitive talking about David Tepper. He wants to bring a winner to the Carolinas. He wants it now. And pushes me and pushes us to that end. He wants to do whatever it takes, turn over every stone, turn it as much as he has to produce winning football. So I appreciate those conversations. They're always very challenging. He's a super competitive person. He's not going to sit idly by. There's different philosophies in ownership. Some kind of say stay away and don't engage a lot. Other owners do. And his philosophy is he's going to engage. And listen, it's only been a short experience, but it's been a really good experience. It hasn't been fun. It's not fun. Those meetings, I would not characterize them as fun, but those meetings make me better. And I trust they make us better. And this is where it all comes to me is how much is Tepper's influence? Is it getting to the point where it's overbearing to where now Frank Reich, I mean, of course, Frank Reich is a mess right now. 0-5, not how he wanted it to start, the team, all of this stuff. And then he's got to go in and go to the principal's office. He's got to go to detention once a week. He's got to go write his name on the board 150 times, right in front of David Tepper. And I wonder, does now David Tepper have a type? David Tepper have a type? And I think it might start more with Scott Fitterer. And you brought in Scott Fitterer. Remember we saw those videos about the balance between we needed kind of a counterweight between Matt Rule and David Tepper, and that was Scott Fitterer, or David Tepper was going to be the tiebreaker in all this. It's starting to wonder, is David Tepper's type just a yes man? And is Scott Fitterer the yes man? And is now Frank Reich the new yes man?
Oh, absolutely, dude. I believe that Frank Reich is a patsy. He's brought in to do whatever David Tepper tells him that he's going to do. And Tony, I've told you my theory about this. I'll reiterate it once again. I believe at one point in time, this entire organization was sold on CJ Stroud because the original plan was to wait until the Texans and the Bears made their trade. The Panthers were going to go to number 2. The Bears were going to go down again. Everybody knew that the Houston Texans wanted Bryce Young. So if they were comfortable moving up to number 2, that tells me that two of the prototype big arm, big body quarterbacks of CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson were going to be right there for the picking. It's only when Fitterer and David Tepper decided to pull the trigger and move up to number 1 that they said, wait a minute, every respectable media outlet, every analyst, every draft guru is saying that Bryce Young is the best quarterback in this year's draft. And we're going to look dumb if we don't come out of this draft with the consensus number 1 quarterback, regardless of whether or not he's 5'10", 200 pounds soaking wet. And that's when everything changed. And then that's when Fitterer and David Tepper and the front office pretty much from then on shifted everything toward Bryce Young. And Frank Reich is also a bit of a yes man. And I believe he didn't want to start a fight. And maybe he also didn't believe there was that much of a difference between Bryce and Stroud. I don't know.
And Bryce is a good talker.
Yeah.
Right? Is that remember when we were talking about all the things and look, is again, every time I say, I don't want to come back and be like, because I wanted CJ. I didn't really care that much about who it was. I just wanted the Panthers to pick a quarterback.
Amen.
I did.
My initial inclination was towards CJ Stroud.
Same.
And then then it started to move towards Anthony Richardson at the last second because I have my type. If David Tepper has his type of yes man, I have my type, which are big, giant, athletic black men, right? So I wanted Anthony Richardson.
You're so cringe when you say that, but
I know. That's why I say it every time like that on purpose. I mean, I have a type of that. And so I was, and then I think this is that as we kind of got towards the end of it, we were trying to figure out who the pick was going to be and when Bryce was the pick. Bryce's superpower. Remember we said like every elite quarterback has to have one just elite trait.
Right.
Bryce's has been his processing ability, but really he's elite in interviews. Do you remember when he would go on whatever interview would go on, he'd be like, oh my God, smartest, most mature kid I've ever met in my life. And I wonder how much that wooed David Tepper. And because this is that when you are dealing with someone, but the other thing that's wild about this is Anthony Richardson is really well spoken. He is very well spoken when you listen to him. So I mean, it's not like he's just
white voice too. Is real deep and low. Man.
He's just not. He's not he's not just an athlete like you. He's got, and really, this is all about how you portray yourself to the media. This is branding and all of this. Even and look, is that despite the poor S2 test, this and that is CJ Stroud also has very thoughtful, great, responses and things. But Bryce's stuff was always like, this is annoyingly polished.
Yeah, it's almost too polished, isn't it?
Well, you were starting. I bet you we could go back and pull some tape about us saying like, is that a concern? Like, because my buddy always used to say Deshaun Watson's such a good dude. Deshaun Watson's such a good dude. And then it's like, oh God, Deshaun Watson not a good dude.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's almost where it's too it's like, oh my gosh, what's the skeleton in the closet? But I just wonder how much David Tepper walked away just saying, I just feel more comfortable giving the keys to this kid. You know what I'm saying? Is you got these kids and I need someone to be the DD this weekend. I'm going out of town. Here's the keys to the Benz. Bryce, I feel most comfortable with you. That's what I think. I think he just felt like it was a less. And isn't that wild that the 5'9", 190-pound guy is a less risk?
Yeah, I mean, it runs counterintuitive to every common train of thought when drafting number 1. I mean, there's a reason why they're like big, strong, athletic quarterbacks in today's modern NFL. I mean, listen, Bryce.
Hold on. I gotta address this comment, Eddie. Bring this up. Bring up Eddie's comment.
Yeah. This pisses me off too.
Because look, as I understand, look, first of all, I'm not going to dismiss this comment as foolish or anything like that, because there are implicit biases all the time. I actually think that's what I'm trying to say. I think the implicit bias lended towards David Tepper going into the more polished presenter. But let me tell you one thing is what I'm trying to say here is that all of these guys were very polished. And to be honest, for someone who for what they do for a living is speak in front of people, I could have never done what these kids do at 19 years old from anyone. So I don't want it. What I'm trying to say is that these guys, all of them, had the total package, to the point of where you can't say, well, this is just the guy. In fact, we're finally seeing this, is that, in fact, they're breaking the mold. You used to only say, and not all you, I don't know what anybody, but we all would hear, that guy's an athlete. This guy's cerebral. These guys were all athletic. They were all football guys. They had none of them had really, not that I know of, had anybody been in any type of trouble or concern like that. And when you saw all of them on these interviews, you're like, holy shit. And not because you're like, holy shit, because you don't think someone can be. I'm saying holy shit because a 21-year-old being that put together, the age is the thing. So I really don't, what I am trying to say here is that I think that isn't a weakness. Like, it wasn't like these guys were weak in one area and Bryce was just superior in this area. You know, I mean, all it like is like, listen to these guys talk football. Listen to CJ Stroud. Look, CJ Stroud came out there and gave a talk to the fans the other day, and you're like, holy shit. He wants you to have, I want that guy to be my guy. It's not like these guys were stumbling and fumbling and bumbling in their interview process. So I really don't, I do want to address that because I do think implicit bias is a real thing. And I hope you don't, and you know what, and I'm not trying to do that, but hey, if that's the case, I would actually say I think that maybe that implicit bias could have gone into it. It's just the fact is all the top quarterbacks were black.
All of them. And they all came from great backgrounds. They were all well-spoken. They were all incredibly intelligent. So there's nothing coded at all because they all shared a lot of the similar attributes. But, okay, one of the things that you have to remember is that Bryce Young's father is like a renowned psychiatrist. He's like, he's done that for a long time. And he's kind of brought Bryce up in that type of way to know how to present himself, to know how to navigate through certain circumstances. And by the way, it came out that Bryce Young had been taking the S2 test since he was in like high school or something like that.
No way.
Yes. No,
I haven't heard that. That's awesome.
Everything about Bryce and his family were about preparing him to one day be a professional football player. And I'm not coming down on them from that. That's an incredible family.
Oh, you should.
Yeah, trying to build into the life of their son.
These
and help
guys
him be a professional football player. That's
and I don't
incredible.
know. I don't know Anthony Richardson's personal background that well. I want to say I remember Stroud's not just being like from a place of privilege, though.
No,
right?
Stroud was his father, I believe, ended up going to jail at some point. And and his mom raised him, and she brought him up the right way.
Yeah, good testament. But
everyone loved
what
him
we
too.
know
All
about Bryce.
Loves CJ Stroud.
Bryce had a personal quarterback coach since he was like in the 8th grade. You know, it's like if you're talking about taking the S, you are, and you know what? It's not a terrible idea if you believe in your kid that much and they have a passion for sport like that. There could be, it's not a poor financial investment, and clearly it wasn't. He went number 1.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like I'm not going to fault anybody for studying for the SAT. You know, it's like, oh, well, they got a good score on the SAT because they like, well, I mean, like, good. You should do the right things.
Yeah, but it does suck when this one test is used against this player and this test is leaked out there to essentially call the man stupid. Like, because he failed this S2 test and other big name quarterbacks that are successful right now, they did well in their S2 test, but Stroud didn't, so therefore he's stupid. Like that, and I have no doubt that was another thing that played into the pick at number 1. You're not going to move up to number 1 to draft a guy who isn't elite at being able to read defenses and knowing what he's looking at. And if everyone is a believer in analytics and all these other tests that they're using, then they're going to look at Stroud like, well, it came from Ohio State. They have wide receivers wide open all the time. Everything is easier for him. Boom, go to the Alabama quarterback because his S2 test matches everything that we see on film. It's not a fair one-for-one comparison.
And his film, we got... God, I don't know. I'm not giving it. I don't think Bryce is the wrong pick. I do think Bryce looks smaller and smaller each week. Like every time I see him out there. And you know what? I will say this, and we got to hit these super chats. Is I watched that. I watched the 49ers game, the 49ers Dallas game.
Yeah.
And I felt like their entire team looked bigger and more athletic than our team. Like well, I'm just saying, like every position seemed like to have like dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like they got these linebackers out there. It just is like we got these bum ass offensive linemen. We got a tiny little quarterback. We got a cornerbacks I ain't ever heard of. We don't have studs, dude.
No,
we JV. We're JV. All right, let's see. Let's get these supporters and let's take some calls.
Yeah, let's do that. Oh wait, no, hold on. You address them first. I got to now. Hold on. Boy, I promise we'll get to them. Eddie says Purdy had the highest score last year. Notable elite scorers: Justin Fields, Joe Burrow, Drew Brees, and Josh Allen.
There's only one outlier on that list.
But Eddie, that's my entire point. That now you're not even judging a player based off of what they're seeing on and off the football field. You're basing it off of a test that literally wasn't even invented for football. It was a baseball test. And then in recent years, they've started using it to evaluate football players. But the fact that CJ Stroud, as a prospect, got devalued because of a low test score and a test that has nothing to do with football, you cannot tell me that that's fair. I'm sorry.
Can you see a scenario, and again, this is purely speculative, but where David Tepper, in his bias for Bryce Young, made that almost, again, I know this is a long shot, but that score was leaked by him in an effort to make the pick that he wanted to be more appealing?
I don't know. There's a couple of things when you think about that score that's important too, is that the company that runs the S2, this was a big failure for them that this score leaked, right? Because a big part of these scores, a big part of the way that these test scores go is that the players were the ones that were the only people that could release the score. And somehow this information got out, which already is sketchy in its own way. Is like, why is this out?
It's gotta be a team. And here's the thing. There's only two beneficiaries of this. Okay.
Or a team that wanted CJ to fall, right?
That's what I'm saying. There's only two people involved that it could have been. And that is either David Tepper to make himself look like the decision they made with Bryce Young wasn't the wrong one, or the Houston Texans in an effort to make sure that David Tepper didn't want to take Bryce Young or didn't want to take CJ Stroud over top of Bryce Young.
Daniel Jeremiah, Eddie says, and he's right about this, that accidentally leaked that Bryce scored the highest in the class, but he got that from a team. right? Is like he didn't get that. He didn't go to the S2 company and get that. Some team told him that, right? Or some agent or some. So somehow that was leaked. Yes, he leaked it to the public, but that information got to him somehow. The other thing is that the company itself, I saw an interview where the CEO went out and had to do damage control or whatever. I don't know if he's a CEO or whatever.
He went on Pat McAfee's show.
Is that what it was? And then he said, look, is that we got to think about some circumstances here.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud had been on this crazy tour of interviews and all of this stuff. And he came in and he actually didn't want to take the test.
It was late at night, apparently.
Yeah, and he said that he didn't want to take it, but they said, why don't we just take it and you can retake it if you don't like while you're here. And so then that came out, right? So he did damage control on that. That company's trying to distance themselves from the leak on this. The point being is that was used that was not used by CJ Stroud's people to inflate his stock. That was somehow used to either downgrade CJ stock, or even if you want to take that conspiracy theory farther, like CK is saying, is somebody is out there trying to inflate Bryce Young stock in that case. Because there's a great advantage to being the number one pick. Either way, what my whole point is, I don't even know what my whole point is. My whole point is that clear Tepper and them, their fingerprints are on this pick.
Oh, 100%. Let's hit some of these super chats. BG, but the 199 says fans will be more irritated when we play CJ. Oh, bro, I'm about to be insufferable. Y'all better hold on to your asses.
You know what? We should be thankful we're not having to play Anthony Richardson. Imagine fans.
Is he going to be out longer?
It's out 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, damn.
No, but that's good news for Bryce Young and Panther fans.
I don't think so. I think Gardner Minshew is a better quarterback.
No, not about the win or the loss. What if you lost to Anthony Richardson then?
To both of the quarterbacks
right
that you have the opportunity to draft.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, hey, don't worry. We can still lose to the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields and DJ Moore. That'll also be embarrassing.
Do we play them?
Oh, you know we do.
We have all the revenge games this year.
Yeah, we have them all, man. C Dog 1983. Shout out my man C. He says David Tepper is the death of the Panthers and its fans. Can't argue with you there, man. Railroad Man with the $2 says missed opportunities. My boy, the stats, says Cam said it pretty well on RG3's podcast this week. The coach needs to adapt his teachings to the player. Cam had to tell his coaches not to coach him like Manning, and it started to click after that. That's a great point, too. You have to factor in how a player learns, the best way to talk to them. I mean, being a coach.
You think that applies here, though?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think they're miscoaching Bryce. I think if anything, they may be making
how would we know?
It too complicated.
Well, but that's the point. You have to sometimes.
Well, you believe he's so smart, though. So you you're like, oh, he can do whatever. So
upset because everybody was told that this is the type of shit that he's able to jump right in on. It doesn't matter how complicated the playbook is. Bryce is going to be able to come in and run things right away. And I think that's why a lot of fans are upset. But I do agree with Stats' overall comment in that sometimes you have to change things up specifically to make things easier on your rookie quarterback. And that's 100% the truth. Paisan, Mrs. Marinara with the $5 says Frank is overcooked pasta. Limp Dick Jones. Oh,
no al dente there.
And my man, Evan Sports Talk, member for 4 months, says, how we feeling, y'all? Not too good, Evan. Not too good. Tony Dunn, you want to jump into some of these cat calls?
Please, we got a lot.
The number is 252-228-5098. Be a part of the show. Leave a message and tell us what you think about these Carolina Panthers. Let's roll.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty
You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hi, just another very disappointed Panther fan yet again. Dreams and everything in shambles on the season from the get-go. But Scott Fitterer and David Tepper can't get out of none of these contracts, and they should have to lay in this bed of Panther shit they have made. But honestly, I think the team died a long time ago when Jerry Richardson left, fuck. Sucks, guys. What being a Panther fan is, like Cody said, getting your expectations through the roof, only to find out you got a dud of a bottle rocket. You're not going anywhere. Well, all I could say is that was a really stinky loss. The most points we've been scored upon. The defense got ran upon. The zone sucks, a-holes. I don't know what to say. Crapalina. And there's 12 more weeks of this, guys. Keep pounding.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for sticking with the C3 Panthers podcast. Smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the conversation.
Tony,
Whether you like the opinions, whether you don't like the opinions, get in the comments afterwards. And do more than just say, you guys don't know football. Tell me why I don't know football. That's what I want to know. I have no problem with that. Is like, look, I've been wrong about many things in life. Ask my wife. She says I'm wrong about everything. But I need an explanation.
Yeah,
and she will be happy to give it to me.
I'm sure she will. By the way,
what does that mean?
Before we go to this next call, I want to, you already heard Rich Eisen say it. Here's an 8-second clip of Adam Schefter saying the same thing.
Just hung up the phone with someone in the organization, and I said, there's a belief that David Tepper loves Bryce Young, Frank Reich, like CJ Stroud.
Oh yeah, that's a throwback though. That's a throwback from when it was going down. But this is that it
leads more credence to my conspiracy theory that everybody wanted to drag me over hot coals on Twitter for. So don't get mad at your boy for being on the right track before everybody else. That's all I'm saying.
All right, let's go to the next call.
What's going on, guys? It's C3 Coach Kurt.
What's up, Kurt?
No, I know why. I don't know why. It's so hard to be a Panther fan. Like I've been coming in here this whole entire season saying the same shit. I mean, we have no one to blame but ourselves. We got this hype of all these trades and everything coming in and all these free agent signings, and we let the hype get to our heads. Like, there's no way that you can sit here and be positive. Like, oh, in the future. But the moves that we did set us back. Like, it's going to be a nice, comfy pile of shit we're sitting on for a while. And the only way with this, like, there's a movement of positivity is if people start getting fucking fired. And Tepper fucking sells the team to somebody else. This is horrendous. Absolutely. Oh my God. I mean, like, we're at the bottom of the fucking. We're not even in the barrel, bro. We're holding the barrel. Jesus Christ. It's bad. Miles, I'm not even going to complain about individual players. Like, some of the talent on our team is just complete dog shit and shouldn't even be playing football.
Oh yeah.
Some of our coaches shouldn't even be coaching right now.
I'm really disappointed in how many mistakes Frank Reich has made.
The paycheck is fucking terrible. I don't know. It's hard. But as everybody else says, we'll be better in the future, guys. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus.
Yeah, how could you have?
Is it this bad on the internet?
I feel like.
Oh, Tony, you have no idea.
For the rest of the season, just let him fucking sling the rock. Just let him do what he does.
Why are they coming after me at all?
Like, just don't even
Because I'm active
let
on
him do his
Twitter.
own fucking play, something, bro. Like, just cut him loose. Let him use the targets that we brought in. I don't know.
We'll talk about it.
The fucking joke.
I agree. Thanks, man. Thanks,
Yep.
Kurt.
Yeah, no, dude, like you really gotta hear me when I say I lost 100 followers on Twitter.
And it takes
Di-
like a year to get 100 followers on
Dude,
Twitter.
that's what I'm
You know what
saying. Yeah,
It
dude,
takes
like,
a
in
long
a
time.
little over 2 days, enough people were pissed off with my opinion enough to be like, nah, I prefer my echo chamber pristine and only with the ideas and the theories that I love
What
to
did you
hear
say that was even
about
that
my
bad?
fucking team. I put Bryce. So after he threw that interception, I put Bryce the Truth Young, truly fucking terrible, and he was
Okay,
playing
but
terrible.
they're misreading that
Yeah, and
entirely. Is
but you know
that like
what?
it's not like he's a terrible player, but
Oh, he's
he
a
has been
bust. No one's calling him
playing
a bust.
terribly.
Yeah.
You can say that was a terrible play. You can like why do you got to take that to the infant?
Right. And
All
by
right,
the way,
continue.
even when I try to clarify my statement and saying, listen, I think Bryce can be a really good quarterback. If you look at what the 49ers are doing and what the Miami Dolphins are doing, that's essentially the type of team that you want to try and build
People are
around.
ready to give up on Tua from day one.
Right. But that's my point. It takes a while.
Another Alabama quarterback, by
It
the way.
takes a while to build up a roster of dudes that are dogs up and down your O-line, up and down your wide receiver core. So then when I'm putting out a nuanced opinion saying, yeah, I think Bryce can be a good quarterback still, but you have to be able to criticize him when he deserves to be
Well, you can't
criticized for
say that
playing
you were
bad.
nuanced by saying he was fucking terrible. That wasn't a nuanced opinion.
No,
The first opinion wasn't.
no. He played fucking terrible.
I just think it's okay. Like, look, is that we pick winners and losers.
But all I'm saying is, though, is that you can build around a player and they can be successful, like Tua Tagovailoa is doing right now. Yet I would still take Justin Herbert over him 10 times out of 10. He's a better prospect.
I thought Bryce would elevate players though earlier. And you know what? And that's my own fault for believing that. That's my own fault for believing that. But we thought the cerebral, the this, the that, the how, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's like, that's our own fault for buying in. And you know what? I'm going to remind myself about that shit. What did I say on the post game show? Anytime somebody says generational talent, pro ready, fucking red flag for me to not get excited.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's just a bunch of people just like us who need to have something to talk about each week, manufacturing a fucking conversation. You know? And you're right. You go back, you look at Bryce Young's tape, he didn't do any of that. But again, he played in college. And this was Greg's ultimate point. And it's a real point. And that's why you can't say just because you played in the SEC that the NFL is going to be great. If that was the case, then everybody from the SEC would go into the NFL and have success, and only other people from other conferences would struggle. But we see tons of motherfuckers all over flame out from the you know what I'm saying? Is college and the pros are different. You take 120 teams with 90-man rosters, and you trim it down to 30 teams with 53-man rosters. And by the way, those players get to play for 10 and 15 years, the greatest of the great. It's a different fucking dog, bro.
It is a different dog. I just think it's going to take longer to build the team around Bryce than it would another quarterback.
I don't think even that. I just thought we thought it was going to be too easy. I think it's our own fault for thinking it was going to be easy.
But let me just say this too. Like, you're not going to tell me, if you want to say he doesn't have wide receivers around him, great. I agree with you 1,000%. If you want to say he doesn't have a good offensive line, perfect.
2,000%.
1,000,000%, dude. Fine. But you're not going to sit there and tell me that Bryce Young doesn't have a problem turning over the football.
Do you think Bryce Young would tell you that he's played the way
No,
he expected
there is
himself
no
to play?
way that he would tell you that. So if Bryce wouldn't tell you that,
Why
why
are
is
you
it
mad at
unfair?
you?
Yeah, why is it unfair for us to say it? Like, it's just Bryce fans that are so butthurt that whenever they hear one bit of criticism, they think, "Oh, you don't even like him.
I think
you
it's
don't want
fear,
him."
Cody. I think it's fear. I think all of that is rooted in fear that it might not work.
Oh yeah.
And that is a terrifying thought. And not because I don't think it's going to work, but the scariest of parts is this. And I wanted the number 1 pick. I wanted, like, when we did that, I was like, fuck yeah. We get our guy. Whoever we want, whether he's right, wrong, or indifferent, we picked him. You know what I'm saying? I picked my date to the dance. I didn't get left over with this. The scary part about it is that if it doesn't work, how far, you're set back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's the terrifying part of this is the criticism. Any criticism really raises that secret fear in the darkness that you don't want to be true, that you don't want to admit's there, that it might not work. And you know what? I'm sure a couple of Dolphin fans had that with Tua.
More than a couple.
But they also picked him at 6 and didn't trade up for him. Let's go to the next call.
Hey, Mike Weston. I know you hear me. Come on, man. So we're about to come up on week 6, and we talked about us getting 12 wins, and I don't think that's gonna happen, bro. So you and me need to sit down and talk.
Who is he even
we need to
talking
sit
about?
down and talk money. So
He got somebody he's talking to.
I kind of knew that this was gonna happen. I knew it. It's all good, guys. It's all good. It happens.
I mean, that's Nick. He's talking to somebody
I hate to see a
specifically.
team like this, but it happens. So,
I wonder if he's going to the Miami game. That would be Nick's fucking luck.
Yeah, I doubt
That
it.
would be Nick from Montero, and who is homeboy from Mass, Josh from Mass. These poor motherfuckers come down
Every time they go to a game.
It's
Although,
just
they were at the Lions game last year, though.
Oh, were they? They
Yeah.
got their first. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Nick did. That was his first
They
W.
should have retired right then.
I know.
It's never gone to another game. All right, next call.
Hey guys, long time listener. My name's Jacoby from Greensboro.
Hell yeah, thank you.
Jacoby, what's up? Want to say you guys are great. I love listening to you. I can't listen to you when my kids are in the car, but
that
I
is
love
the
listening
truth.
to you. But anyway, I wanted to give a few responses to what I think about Bryce Young. I actually think he needs to sit. I think he looks overwhelmed. I think he looks like he's not handling the pressure. And whether or not he can do well with being on the bench and learning from Andy Dalton, I don't know. Some I think can do better playing. Some can do better just sitting and waiting. But all I know is that he doesn't look like he has it right now. And he looks like he's overwhelmed with pressure. And on another note, I really want to win more games than 3 other teams. I just don't want the Bears to get Williams, May, or Harrison.
Like, what if they get all of them?
They'll have the
I
capital
just
to
really
trade
don't
up.
want that to happen. But that would be pretty devastating. But anyway, guys, love listening to you. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Thank you for the call. And you're right. You can listen. Yeah, I listen to podcasts kind of like my own in the car sometimes, and then you're like, I gotta pause it. Hold on, I should have paused it already. Why am I listening to this in front of my children? So no, I understand that. Thank you for listening, and your support, and I understand. You know what I do with those is you put the radio on for your kids, and you put the one Bluetooth earbud in one ear so you can listen to what you want to listen to, and you look like and you can still have awareness. You can still hear the car, you can still hear the kids.
Sounds like a veteran dad move to me.
I got 3. Here's the one thing about that. or about this when he brings this up is what do you do now? I've mentioned this a few times on the podcast is when Frank Reich, I wanted in retrospect, and I know this is hindsight's easy, is that if Thomas Brown was calling the plays and we struggled, then Frank Reich could take over. But Frank Reich passing the plays to Thomas Brown is such an early admission of incapability. In this is that it seems like foolish to do it. How do you go from Bryce to Andy Dalton now? I mean,
No, you don't.
Even if it's the right move, like in theory, that means it was the right move to begin with.
Right. Well, we know that they went into the training camp that he was going to be starting. I don't think there was a single soul that believed that he wasn't. And so the fact that they did start him, honestly, I think you would cause more harm than good, regardless of reputation, but from the mental aspect of it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
You cannot turn this into a Sam Darnold situation and with the Jets where Sam Darnold has everything you want in a quarterback, right? Like the size, he has some elusiveness to him. And he went to a place where he just wasn't doing very well, right? So, but or even Zach Wilson, you can't do what you're doing to Zach Wilson right now, which is benching him, constantly getting him back in the lineup, benching him again, getting Aaron Rodgers to come in, and then him getting hurt, and then he's forced to go in there again.
It might be the best thing the Jets did by not going and getting a quarterback and just saying, "Hey, we're gonna try to rock with you at this moment." You're right, CK.
I can't imagine what that would do to the psyche of Bryce Young if you went and just put him into the and put him on the bench. When
you go 0-6, what is the tipping point that you say this? Is you come out and you say, "Look, this season we wanted to win this year. We did. We didn't go out there to lose, but we didn't win."
Right.
When do you just go out there and say this is about development of our team, about developing our quarterback, developing our coaching staff and the continuity, developing the players, and learning about what we're going to do in the future? If you bench Bryce Young, you're saying that you're not even interested in doing that. You're just trying to put 1 or 2 wins ahead or 3 wins ahead of that development. I think at some point you've got to, if you're Frank Reich, you got to walk into David Tepper's office and you got to say this: you hired me for a reason. It has not gone the way we wanted it to. We picked Bryce Young for a reason together, all of us. Don't put this on me. Don't put this on you. We were all in on this. And you know what? We did it for a reason. Let's grow a backbone here. If we go 0-16 or 0-17, excuse me, then we go 0-17. But now the whole goal is not about winning winning a week to week, but winning as a growth model. And I know that doesn't get us a draft pick and this and that. So yeah, you know what? Put away the newspaper, David Tepper. Nobody reads the actual newspaper anymore. Delete your Twitter app, and let's just go to work and put out the noise. I think you're right, CK. I think the caller's right in saying that we may have taken the wrong road, but now we've committed.
Right.
We committed to Frank. It's just with Frank Reich and the play calling. If he gives it over to Thomas Brown now, I think does more harm than good. Because he gets fired anyway.
Can we talk about this? If you're any of the Panthers coaches, what are you telling them with this matchup against Miami? What did you?
You could have said that even if you were 5-1 right now, dude, or 4-1.
You're gonna play one of the best offenses in the NFL. What adjustments are you even gonna hope to make?
Oh, there's no adjustment. None.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
Just
At this
growth.
point,
It's just growth on offense.
The idea that one difference in play caller is somehow going to change how our offense looks.
Oh,
Like,
I don't care. You're not going to keep up with the Dolphins. Don't worry. That's not going to change shit. What you got to just worry about is not having a track meet. You know what? What I would say is this, is I would almost try to forfeit this game. Can you do something? Can we get COVID? Can we do something? What is this going to help? What is it going to help to get hung 72?
We're French now. We're waving the white flag, baby.
On this one game, bro. We match up terribly against this team. We matched up terribly against this team before the season started. This is a track meet. Our defense is hurt, undermanned, and their offense is a top. Here, look, here, Cody, I got it up. I'm going to, add the, let's see, I put it up in here. Here, I got it right here. We're going to add this. Right now, they're ranked 8th overall. We're ranked 30th. Their offensive rank is number 2. And I think that's who is number 1 according to PFF? That's what I want to know.
Probably
Philly?
San Fran, huh?
Fuck that, man. So it's like, no, these mugs have they put more points up in a single. And I know you can be like, oh, it's Denver. No, these guys run a fucking track meet. They run it. They put up like college numbers. And yeah, they lost to Buffalo because Buffalo always beats them. These guys run it fantastic. They pass it fantastic. They got so much speed at every position. There's no way our defense, even if you put all of the people that were hurt on this defense, had any chance against this offense. These mugs are too good for us. The only way that it's close is that we catch them sleeping. You know what? The spread is 13.5. I think last week it was 10 points against the Lions, and the Lions covered easily. The only thing that's wild, I thought I said earlier in the show, I mistakenly said 43 over under. I only think this is that 48.5 is low. Could this be, you know what? If the over under, and a lot of the money is on the under on this, I think the smart money is saying that it's going to be under. The only thing I could think is that the Panthers don't score.
Which is it feels like it's a possibility.
But how do you keep this how do you keep them from scoring under 40? I mean, truly. How do you keep the Miami Dolphins from scoring under 40?
And there's no way, dude. We couldn't stop the Detroit Lions from doing it. And
but the Lions are good, but this offense is better.
They were missing their number 1 wide receiver.
They're going to be missing Achene or whatever his name is, that running back. But guess what? They still got Mostert.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They have a good offensive line. Literally, whatever running back you ask to run in that offense, they're going to fucking run it down.
Listen to this. My boy Kev says this is the way you keep them from not scoring. That is, you keep the ball. Well, we can't run the ball, though.
Yeah.
We can't. How do we keep the ball if we can't run it? Dude, 900 screen passes.
Why aren't we using Jeremy Chin as like a strike safety? Like someone that's just
18 snaps in that.
That was ridiculous.
His snap count.
He's a bust.
Goes lower and lower. Dude, remember all those fans that were like, "Oh, Jeremy Chin's so much better than Isaiah Simmons." Dude, how about this? They're the same.
No, Isaiah Simmons light. I think Jeremy Chin is getting screwed over.
But okay,
I have not watched him play. You know what? Actually, I think it comes down to is this.
For Jeremy
you know
Chin
why? No, the reason why
question.
Jeremy Chin is not getting snaps is very simple. Is because our secondary is so hobbled that we have to put out 5 defensive backs, and he just can't. Like, it would just be better to put out another defensive back than to put out a hybrid safety linebacker. Like, when everybody can just beat you with wide receivers. He should be a linebacker, I think. How do you possess it, Kev? This is what I'm going to ask. Let's go to the calls. How do you possess it, though? How do you possess the ball when you can't run it? How do you maintain the clock with the way this offense has been? I don't know how you do it. My initial inclination is to think this is just an absolute bloodbath. But the only thing that keeps me from saying that, and the reason I don't think all the money is on the over, is because the NFL is just fucking weird. So this will be the one time the Dolphins score like 20. It'll be like 27. It'll be 21-20. The Dolphins win at the last moment.
No, they are doubting our ability to be the most incompetent that you could ever imagine, dude. A shout out to Don Diesel Skills. He provides a counter argument. Says Chin is top 5 in tackles on this team with only 30% of snaps.
That's insane.
So maybe that leads to your argument, though, that it's just misusage. Like, just no one knows how to use him in the proper fashion.
Just be a linebacker. All right, let's go to the next call.
How's it going, guys? It's C3 Coach Kurt again. So I wanted to do my own little personal research on Scott Fitterer, and so I'm going through all of his background and his experience. So with the New York Giants from 98 to 2000, area scout. Seahawks 2001 to 2010, area scout. Seahawks 2011 2014, director of college scouting. So he should be really good at scouting fucking good talent, right? Okay. Seattle Seahawks 15 to 19, co-director of player personnel. 2020, vice president of football operations, and present time GM for the Panthers. Not too long ago, when we went to hire Scott there was a report saying he was responsible for both Russell Wilson and some of those guys drafted to the Seahawks. Well, I went and did a little more research, and it said that Pete Carroll and general manager John Schneider were the first two to meet with Wilson. John Schneider was mind blown from tape and highlights that he found himself alongside with Pete Carroll and other personnel inside the office. Okay, which could have been Fitterer. But John Schneider made the overall call on pulling the trigger on Russell Wilson. Okay. Where is the credit that Fitterer has of being such a player personnel guy? No one is out here vouching for him. No one vouched for him at all. He's the guy. He got this great talent for us, for this team. And we hired him. And we've seen what that's done for us. Oh man, this is unbelievable. Fucking fire this guy. Man has no credibility. He's been an area scout and a fucking college scout for so many fucking years and has dropped the fucking ball, bro. He has all this experience and is not showing it. And there's no credit for him doing all this great shit on paper, no documents saying shit. There needs to be credit for all the bad stuff he's done.
Preach.
And that's been with us. He needs to go.
Preach, Kurt.
There's no other option. That man literally needs to be fired. And there needs to be a blanket statement saying, hey, if staff members or players don't show up to fucking play, put your
and cut him off right at the end.
I mean, he's got a whole nother car.
Hey, dude, do me a favor.
It's his third.
Hit the. I'll leave it up to you if you want to play it. Hit the applause button though, because my man was.
If I'm hitting the applause, we're playing it.
Yeah, my man was spitting fire. When you dig into Scott Fitterer's past and you look at what all he's been responsible for and what he actually has done, he gets a lot of credit for shit that has nothing to do with him. You think
All
about.
Right, well, I'm playing the next call then from him.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's got then.
Hey, this is Coach Cody. I just wanted to finish my statement. Sorry for calling so many times. I just wanted to say, like starting with Tepper, that man needs to be able to put his foot down and be like, hey, like, as a staff member, if you don't meet expectations in doing your job, you gotta fucking go. For people to show up to work and get their shit together and meet those high standards and expectations of a high caliber fucking organization that we don't even look like as a team that we're a part of, because it looks fucking horrendous. From the front office all the way down to the fucking water boy, we look fucking dog shit. Other than fucking Eddie Pinero, and I'm worried that man's legs pop
All right.
off like a
Thank
fucking...
you. Thank you. We're giving you applause one more time. That's the third call. We got a lot to get through. Let's go to the next one.
Shout out, Kurt.
What's up, C3? It's Kyle from Spartanburg.
What up, Kyle?
Calling in early, heading to work right now. But I just don't understand why it seems like the coaching staff has the rose-colored glasses on more than anyone else. Because it just seems like nobody in the front office or on the team can admit that they're in a rebuild. They always say that they're not rebuilding, all this kind of stuff, but the team's 0-5. Maybe they're saying it's not a rebuild because they don't have any draft capital next year to draft anyone to build this team around, but I don't see this team having any direction right now. I don't think anyone sees this team having a direction. So I'm just kind of confused why everyone says that they're not rebuilding, they're winning now, or they're trying to win now, all that kind of stuff, but there's no results. Maybe they should start saying that it's a rebuild, and maybe we'll see some different results, but I don't really know. But I hope y'all have a good show.
Thank you. He did say, Frank Reich said, we're always building, and I think it's just hard for a organization to say that. I mean, they could be thinking
Especially if you're the Panthers, huh?
Yeah, true. All right, next call.
Hey, everybody, it's Lincoln. I haven't called in a while, but I've been watching every video and trying to find a silver lining in this beyond dumpster fire. We're at a landfill fire now. We've moved beyond dumpster fire. That's small potatoes. So we are now wanting a wide receiver. Now it's a little bit older news, but we gave up one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. First overall pick, 8th overall pick, a second-round pick for Bryce Young. Someone who Cody has mentioned in multiple videos, and I agreed with him. He didn't have all the check blocks for someone you're going to spend that much capital on. He still has some serious red flags. I live in Alabama. I watched Bryce Young growing, as he matured at the University of Alabama. I'm an Auburn fan, an Auburn grad, so I watched him. I'm a Panthers fan too, and I said, well, maybe he could get drafted by the Panthers. And he's just so small. I'm 5'8", 180, and I'm almost as big as him. I'm sorry. That's not what you need for a quarterback. Height is a measure.
Or just to be an NFL player almost.
Yeah.
If you're brilliant between the ears doesn't mean you're going to do much. And I want you guys to look at this, especially you, Cody. Look at the last 7 quarterback classes, draft classes, where the most pro-ready quarterback is selected early on. Name them. And look at their career. You're not going to like this.
Blank, actually.
Sunday Post game. You got Josh Rosen, Daniel Jones, Kenny Pickett. My brain's forgive me on a couple other ones, but it's like going, very
Matt
few of those
Jones
guys have actually panned
Yeah,
out.
well, I don't know. He wasn't first that year, though.
The scheme they were in benefited and covered up their liability.
It's a good call. Real good call.
Wait 4 to 5 seconds before he threw the ball out of him in most of his plays. Because he had an all-star SEC offensive line. And then when he didn't have an all-star, when he was facing against an all-star SEC defense, i.e. Georgia, he got murdered. I'm sorry. Don't look at his highlight reel. Look at his issue reel, whatever you want to call it, stinker reel.
This is a really
It
good
is what
call.
it is, but
Yeah.
it's going to be till 2026 before this team even has a chance.
I don't think he's
Scott
being too
Fitterer put it
mean.
in.
I don't think he's being
He dug us
irrational
a
about
very
Bryce
deep hole.
either.
He needs to be fired on our next when we go to. I think we're going to Europe this year. We should fire him in Europe and make him pay and fly back on his own.
Are we playing in Europe this year or next year?
No, it's next year. We're playing in Germany.
I do think this is that they play in the SEC is too overused, right? It's overused for positive and negatives, right? So anytime you're like, oh, well, they play other NFL competition, they play in the SEC. The other though is a lot of these teams, and I don't watch Alabama a ton. I watch Georgia a good bit because my wife's family is our alum, and they're alum, and her great grandfather her grandfather has now passed away, taught there for 40 years, lived in that. My wife was born in Athens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I know we're part of. That's the only SEC game I've ever been to. I've been there between the head. It's wild. I've been a couple of times. It's like a different experience. I come from a different type of school, but these teams do play teams that make them look good sometimes, right? I mean, they play the SEC, but the first game I ever went. Now this was an SEC game, SEC on SEC, but it's SEC on SEC crime. This was probably so my wife and I have been together.
Vanderbilt or something like that.
It was exactly Vanderbilt. And it was criminal. It was just so, you got to say this, and I'm not trying to, again, take away from it. I think Bryce has a lot of things, but you can't just be like, oh, he played the greatest competition, because sometimes the greatest teams beat up on these little boys too.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just thought that was a great call in a lot of different ways. And
well, I just hate, Tony, how you're not even allowed to say that Bryce is underperforming compared to expectation.
Because they're going to say, oh, what, you didn't think a rookie should struggle?
Right.
Or struggle. We just didn't think that this team would fucking suck like this.
Every other problem is everything that you can mention about Bryce Young playing bad is someone else's problem. It's either the wide receivers or it's the O-line.
They're scared, bro.
Coaches. Yeah. There is never time. There's never one time where Bryce is the one that fucks up and didn't make the play and gave the momentum to the other team. It can never just be that simple. And I like what that caller said too. In today's NFL, you almost have to take a chance on the physical projects rather than the guys that are, maybe day one ready, but they don't necessarily
if your
have
best
that
football is now.
feeling.
You don't want your best football to be now.
Right.
You want your best
to be
football
in the future.
Think about Patrick Mahomes. Imagine if you said, well, he's a shitty prospect because he didn't play. He wasn't the best quarterback in college football that year. Well, he's the best quarterback now. Yeah. I think where this comes back to fear, though, and look, is again, I'm all in on rooting for Bryce. I'm all behind him. I don't think he's a bust. I hate how we have to caveat everything now. I truly believe that. It's like, no, but I'm going to root for my guys, right?
Same.
I'm going to root for him to be great. But I think the secret fear, when those people get, or whoever they are, become really defensive or insecure, is because they're coming to terms with this, is that despite all the really cool things about Bryce, there were more warts than you wanted to admit.
Yeah.
The size, it is not just size. It's like he's not crazy. He doesn't have Kyler Murray speed.
He is the smallest starting quarterback in the
But
NFL.
he doesn't have Kyler Murray speed, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have a Kyler Murray arm.
No.
So it's like this, is he doesn't have a bazooka. He doesn't have crazy speed. He's got questions at size.
He's just really smart.
There are too many check boxes and not enough check. It's like, you know, when you get you got your report card when you were a kid.
Yeah,
and you got the one where before the grades, and you got the satisfactory, and then you got the S plus. There's a couple of too many S's and not enough S pluses on that.
Oh yeah, there's definitely not enough. And by the way,
scary.
everybody
It's scary.
was,
They're terrified of it. They're terrified of really thinking about those things.
And everybody was willing to push all those things aside. No, it doesn't matter that Bryce is 5'10". It doesn't matter that he's 195 pounds soaking wet. It doesn't matter because he's this, and this. And hey, like we just said, we have to do a caveat with everything. We want Bryce to be good.
Yeah,
because a good Bryce Young means a good Carolina Panthers. And we're not going to stop being a fan of this football team.
You just hate for him to be Geno Smith, to be awesome 20 years from now.
Man, or like for him to be another Alex Smith, which is a comparison that you made first, Tony.
Yeah.
That like, you know, there was Aaron Rodgers in the class, but you took the safe pick and the guy that you thought was better now.
And Alex Smith was good, but he just wasn't good enough. He wasn't enough on a team that wasn't good enough yet.
And I could easily see that being the case with Bryce. Ain't that a bitch?
Next call.
Hey, what's good, fellas? It's Corey calling in.
Corey, what's up?
Something's just really been grinding my gears the last few days, and I just wanted to call and speak on it. But
I love grinding.
I know just sports fans in general, we have a hard time operating in the gray area of things. Everything is either one way or another, right? Is it Bryce? Is it the coaches? Is it the weapons? Is it this? Obviously, it's a fucking football team. There's 56 players on the roster. There's so many coaches. There's so many hands in the pot. That
this is way bigger than Bryce. Literally, everything is
attributed to one person or one thing, one aspect. When something goes as bad as it's going this year, you can't attribute to one thing or one aspect. But we as a fan base, man, and this isn't an anti-Bryce call because again, I'm not totally out on Bryce.
There's the caveat.
This shit has been.
I hear you, Corey. I hear you, bro. Talk to
everybody, but I'm not just totally saying that he can't be an NFL quarterback. But in that same vein, bro, we have to stop babying this motherfucker to where he's totally excused from all criticism. Like I'm seeing on Twitter, folks are excusing that interception he threw to Hutchinson last week.
Just insane play by Hutchinson. Insane play.
It was
like, bro,
crazy.
Some things can be true.
It was a good play.
Matter of fact, 3 things can be true. The play call was terrible. Don't know why we're running a bubble screen to our slowest, least athletic tight end who's been on.
Why wasn't it to Hurst?
Hutchinson made an amazing play.
He did.
He read the play, pushed the tight end out of his spot, and caught an interception one-handed. It was an amazing play. He has elite ball skills for a defensive lineman. And Bryce shouldn't have thrown the fucking ball. When you see those things happening, and Hutchinson is literally standing where Ian Thomas is supposed to be, throw the ball in the dirt, bro.
Oh, you want to talk about baby and wait until you hear
and that's the thing, like
Frank Reich talking about those
every
interceptions.
Game, he's putting the ball in harm's way, whether it's a fumble or an interception. And obviously the second interception was you can look at that and be like, that was a bad throw. Not only did it not have enough zip on it, but it was a bad read. Like I don't well, you weren't looking at the right thing there. But the
coach on this today? Yesterday?
Like, bro, just because he's a rookie doesn't mean that he's not playing bad. And just because he's playing bad as a rookie don't mean he's always going to be bad. But, like, don't just sit here and tell me that these dudes are
That's
rookie
the best way to put it.
And da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's supposed to excuse everything. Like, nah, bro.
I want to hear that.
We are not
I'm going to try to rewind it for that.
Bad as a rookie don't mean he's always going to
be
bad.
There it is.
Thank you, Corey.
Now, listen to this one. The way this is like this is like poetry right here.
Corey, you're the man. Did you say everything I've been trying to say on Twitter all day, my brother? I love it.
It was good, fellas.
Here it is.
Read, like I don't like what you.
Watch, he said just because you're a
the
rookie.
Hutchinson play is like a quintessential like, bro. Just because he's a rookie,
here it is,
doesn't mean that he's not playing bad. And just because he's playing bad as a rookie, don't mean he's always gonna be bad. But like,
Bars.
don't just sit here and tell me that this dude's a rookie and that the coach is sucking and da 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 da. Like, it's supposed to excuse everything. Like, nah, bro. We are not Bryce Young haters for calling out that Bryce needs to play better.
Great call,
Incredible
Corey.
call, man.
Great. You know what? First of all,
shout out to Corey,
He
man.
makes great calls all the time. So it's not like this is a first good call, great call.
Corey's the homie, man.
But Frank Reich did baby. You know what he said? If we really went, if you go and listen to all of yesterday's press conference about all the crap and this and that, he said that the interception that we all thought was a poor throw, like, you know, just, and it's okay.
Yeah, he said the wide receiver ran the wrong route.
Right. He didn't run the right angle, which did this. And you know what? I would say this is that I'm okay with Bryce making mistakes. Like, the fact that he threw that interception doesn't mean I'm like, oh God, Bryce fucking sucks. No, it's like those are the growing pains that I expect with a rookie. Those are the mistakes. If anything in that play, it just goes, the only red flag for me does him not being able to see over some of these guys lend towards him not seeing that guy drop back as much. But I don't know. Other than that, is like, yeah, those mistakes are going to happen. And they hopefully happen more in your rookie season. But the idea of saying it's not a mistake is the problem to me.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I'm just like, fine, man. You made a mistake, dude. Somebody goes this is I saw somebody on Twitter and they were reacting to somebody's video about it or whatever, like Brett Coleman, or it was the Brett Coleman. You know Brett Coleman?
Yeah, well, I responded to it. Brett Coleman on Twitter.
He just said I didn't expect this type. I never saw this on his tape.
He said I never saw this on his tape at Alabama. These types of boneheaded errors and mistakes
were not what I expected.
And I quote tweeted him, and I'm like, hey, you let Panthers fans tell it. They'll tell you that it was everyone else's fault and that he did nothing wrong on this play. And everybody got all mad at me again.
Well, there was one guy who said this, and I don't care enough to fight, and I do. I'm more sensitive than you. Thank God, I'm not the one. I am sensitive. I was coming at this guy in the chat, not coming at him, but I was like, he's like, none of y'all played football clearly. I was like, man, motherfucking Elon Musk ain't ever been to space, but do you fucking be like, oh, he don't know how to?
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, it was Stephen Hawkins never went to space.
Yeah,
and just because you played high school football, get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah,
I'm just a fan. I'm not trying to be an expert. I'm just a fan. I'm not a football expert. I'm an expert football fan. But don't be like, oh, that, and then not give me an explanation.
Yeah,
all I said this is right after the Brett Coleman thing, a guy, and he was very polite to Brett. He was like, I just wonder how much of this is a lack of talent and poor play calling. And I said, this is all of those things could be true, but this is a mistake.
Yeah,
like that's it. It was just like, this was a mistake play. Like, he might not have talent at wide receiver. Sure. He might have some moments where there's been terrible play calling. But this right here, can't we just say you made a mistake? You burnt the garlic. If Muscles is still fucking in the chat, you burnt the garlic, and once you burn the garlic, the play's over. You dump the shit out.
Also, Tony, like, you know, dude, man, dude, it's so difficult to
don't even fight. Don't fight with him, man. Don't give him back. You keep being you, brother.
I know.
You don't stop being you.
Oh,
I tell everybody there's a reason people love this podcast. It ain't Tony.
You're too kind. I mean, I just, you know, Bryce Young is going to be very polarizing for a long time to come.
He should be. How about this? How about the fact that Bryce Young is polarizing? Fuck that. We had Cam Newton. We had the black Donald Trump of quarterbacks.
Oh, dude, he might be 10 times more polarized.
No way. Never in the world does it happen.
All said and done.
Oh, wait. Here it comes. Look at this. Here it comes. Here's we have to do this one. We got, look, Truth Hub. Thank you. This is the required. Peyton Manning sucked in his first year. Troy Aikman went. It's the required thing. And nobody is saying that Young is going to be a bust. The point is you can't admit, Truth Hub, tell the truth. You didn't think he would have been better.
Of course he did. He won't say that to you.
I think if this was Anthony Richardson out there doing that, if this was CJ Stroud out there, you'd be like, oh, we knew there was some project. Oh, the S2 test. Oh, this and that. This is the most surprising outcome. And it's not just Bryce Young. It's not just Bryce Young. I think the coaching staff, too, is the exact surprising outcome. I didn't think they were going to be awesome, guys. I didn't think, look, go check the record stats. I said, I think we're a 7, 8, or 9 team. If it's a good season, it's a 9-win team, 9-win team. If it's a bad season, it's a 7-win team. And I'm on record saying I didn't have the nuts to saying there's a potential it could be under 7. And I just didn't want to admit it. But like no one thought, not just Bryce Young, bro. This ain't not just Bryce Young. This is not everything. No one thought this team would be this terrible.
Literally the worst team in the NFL.
And I don't even give a fuck about being winless. I don't even give a fuck about being winless.
Oh,
I thought we would. No. Like, is winning a one game doesn't just all of a sudden make me a better team. But make us like, I never thought that anyone would be like, oh, Matt Rule could have done this shit. That's the biggest fucking insult.
It's such an insult.
I've never, ever in the history of the world thought I would have bet my entire life that it wouldn't have been this.
Here's my question for you. Here's my question for you. Vashti Hurt replied to me in one of my threads. Somebody posted a clip of Bryce making a really nice off-platform throw, and then people saying like, and then someone tagged me. I was like, oh yeah, and I'm like, yeah, that was a great throw. Now do the interception. And then Vashti responded to me and was like, don't know if you saw it, but just for reference, Frank Reich said that the wide receiver ran the wrong play on that route. Well, we already know that Frank Reich is forgetting about wide receivers on the fucking sideline. Don't you think that there's any chance that Frank Reich is doing damage control for Bryce Young and not putting it all on him and saying that, oh, my rookie quarterback, who's clearly going through the rookie growing pains, threw a dumb interception, but instead of me throwing that on Bryce, which it probably should have been, I'm just going to say, fuck it. Jonathan Mingo ran the wrong route.
Can we remind people
that not a possibility?
Can we remind people that are listening to this podcast and that potentially are going to unfollow you on Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, no potential.
No, they've already unfollowed them.
Yeah,
they're not going to listen to this.
Yeah, for sure.
That I was the one making fun of Cody, saying that Bryce Young was going to be rookie of the year, throw for over 4,000 yards. I was the one saying, Cody, chill the fuck out. Chill.
I thought the receivers were better, bro.
No. I don't give a fuck about what it is. No, my point is this. It was not you from the beginning going, Bryce Young can't do it.
Right.
No, there was never a moment. If anything, the only reason that you're hurt about this is because you were too in on Bryce. And my point is this. And so, like, first of all, you weren't a negative Nelly from the beginning. You weren't a Greg from the beginning hoping for failure. No. Second, these people, I want to call these Bryce defenders out, which is fine. I want him to win. I need him to win. I need him to be everything they told us what he was going to be and more, bro. That's what I need him to be. But I need them to come to me. I want them. You got to welcome. You know the number's 252-228-5098. You can hit me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. And I want you to just, with a straight, honest face, tell me that you expected this type of challenge and growing pain for not only Bryce Young, but this coaching staff. And that's just what I didn't see. I was the person that was saying, Cody, chill. No 4,000 yards. Come on, calm down. He can be a very good quarterback. He can have a good season. The fact is I just thought from everything that we saw supposedly on tape and everybody told us that it would just be a little bit better than this. And I don't even think he's played horrendously. Come on.
Right.
The biggest Bryce fan in the world. Are you telling me that you believed that this is what it would have looked like? Let's go to the next call.
Yeah, I don't need no introduction, guys. You know who the fuck it is. This fucking guy, David Tepper. You
This
motherfucker,
fucking
you
guy.
fucking Yankee Doodle fucking jabroni jerk off. Where do you get off? Where do you get off buying this team? You fucking hedge fund Jones fucking jerk off. And making us suffer. Everything you've said has been bullshit. You're a fucking snake oil salesman. Typical hedge fund fucking douche. Come in, penny pitching, cutting corners. It shows on the fucking field, doesn't it, boys?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not giving up on Bryce just yet. And don't worry, Greg, you and your beautiful beard, be patient. Bryce is going to have his day with my phone call, trust me. All right, but this fucking guy, this owner, what, between the AstroTurf, I brought fucking music to fucking Charlotte. All right, good for you. Good for you, you fucking motherfucker. All right, because that's all we got, right? What would you do? You put the fucking logo in the middle of the field? Yeah, that's not good enough. I want it bigger. All right? Fuck the logo. Fuck all that shit. This guy, what he has built, what he has made us suffer through,
Call of the night, bro.
is bullshit. And I want everybody, all the C3 fam, hey, JJ, you and your fucking blue and black shoes and shit, stop buying Panther gear. Stop giving this fucking guy money until he gives us what we deserve. A winning fucking football team. A good product. Shit, I'm small potatoes. But my fucking place, I got a good product and I'm consistent. That's what this team needs. And we don't have it. We haven't had it.
Monster
So
subs
this
and
motherfucker,
grubs.
Jabroni Jerk Off Jones. All right, keep pounding, keep drinking, keep smoking, keep jerking off. I don't give a fuck. Have a good
This
show.
is one of my favorite calls in all of our call history.
Paisan.
Go to Monster Subs in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
You can't handle the truth.
Yeah,
God. He said this. He said, "What the fuck he done? What this motherfucker done? He put the logo out. I want it bigger."
Oh, dude,
All
that's
right, let's go to
hilarious, man.
JJ.
I do have more super chat.
Oh, you want to say? Oh, here, call it
Well,
out, man.
Anthony wanted me to read it. It says, Cody, didn't I tell you about Fit months ago?
Bro,
I guess so, man. I mean, all right.
that logo, I'm dead over this logo because we had a couple of conversations. It was 2 weeks ago or something. We said, what is the best thing that's happened?
We said the logo in the middle
and
of the
I said
field.
the logo. He said, fuck it, I want it big. I'm dead about that shit. It's just awesome.
He said, keep jerking off. Shout out to
What's up,
PJ, man.
C3? It's
It
JJ
is the
from
call of
Louisville.
the night.
Got a sweet and sour
What up,
call
JJ?
today. Got a big ice up for a handful of people, but more so Tony Dunn himself.
Oh, I was about to walk
because he's
away.
the main guy of this call that I got for because it's
Let
just
me hear it, you
irritating, honestly.
jabroni.
You know, big ice up to all those guys who were just like, we only lost DJ Moore, you know? All those guys who just, DJ Moore ain't much.
I ain't fucking
he ain't a
scared of
wide
this.
receiver one.
I ain't scared of
He's
this
a
call
wide
one.
receiver
He's probably
two,
talking to
and
me.
this and that. And fucking, he can only get 4 touchdowns, even though he set a career high with touchdowns last year with 4 different quarterbacks in 1 year. It's cool, bro. He's just going to go from the worst wide receiver situation in the NFL to like another bottom 3 wide receiver situation in the NFL. And
Who
have
gives
a whole
fuck
career
about
here.
his
And I
neighbors?
feel like anytime I defended DJ Moore, all I ever heard was, it's fucking DJ Moore, not Randy Moss. Well,
He is
230
not no
yards, 3
fucking
touchdowns
Randy
on
Moss.
only 8 catches. Sounds like a Randy Moss stat line if you ask me.
Oh my
But
God.
you know how
This is
good
a
you gotta
baby.
be to go from the worst wide receiver situation to like the second worst, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck around and have a career year again, bro. On top of that, I'm gonna have my best, most complete year yet with subpar talent and coaching around me yet again. I up to all those who didn't believe in DJ Moore as a wide receiver one and believed in him as a player and knew who he was the real deal the whole time despite Carolina's dysfunction. All right. You know, it was just last week, you, Tony Dunn, were like, oh, fucking Brandon LaFell is better than Calvin Benjamin and DJ Moore.
I didn't say that. I did not say. I said he was better than Kelvin Benjamin. I did not say no DJ Moore. Go pull that fucking tape.
In a matter of 2 seconds when you said that, Tony.
I did not say that he was better than.
It was just like, you know what, whatever, man. But DJ Moore consistently proving why he was always a legit wide receiver one, and he's making us pay every week on why we shouldn't have traded his ass. Keep pounding, C3. So it's going to be 20 C3 all year long. Keep pounding.
GG. I'm calling you GG right now. I ain't even calling you JJ. GG. Remember when you said how old I was? You were like, oh, I thought you were 82 or 52 instead of 42. This motherfucker. This jabroni right here. He said Randy Moss's name and fucking DJ Moore's name in the same sentence.
He's a fool, and don't I know it?
Hey,
I'm telling you, homie. First of all, get the fuck out of here with this shit. Look, DJ Moore, hard player, pretty good player. Is he better than Steve Smith? Get the fuck out of here with that. No, he ain't better than Steve Smith. Now, is his career over? No, it's not. But you better not put him with Justin Fields if you want to be better than that. And just because this mug had a 3-touchdown game and went 230 yards, but 140 yards of those were covered by grass alone. 2 of them passes. Go look at that game. 140 yards of this guy running fucking free. Running fucking free. Am I happy for him? Yes. Would the Panthers be better if we had DJ Moore? Yes. But get the fuck out of here. In fact, as Panther Pickle would say, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Bro, Randy Moss, this mug could do that with anybody. He's the greatest receiver. The only reason Randy Moss is not the greatest receiver in the history of football is because of Jerry Rice. That's it. And it's in fact, to be honest, it's kind of still an argument. It's still an argument that Randy Moss could be the best. But Jerry Rice has all the numbers, has everything. So, yeah, you just got to give it to him. No, shut the fuck up when it comes to some Randy Moss and some DJ Moore. How about this? Is DJ Moore good? Yeah. But, man, bro, he ran 140 yards against grass. Against grass. Would the Carolina Panthers be better with DJ Moore? Absolutely.
Of course.
But he is not this. All right, how about this? Would you take Justin Jefferson over DJ Moore?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Randy Moss was better than all the motherfuckers. So shut the hell up. How about this? Would you take DJ Moore over who's another top one?
Right now, it's in the game right now. Stephon Diggs.
No. Would you take DJ Moore over him? Guess what? Randy Moss was better than all them motherfuckers. So shut the hell up. Give me a third. Give me another. Oh, would you take DJ Moore over Tyreek Hill?
I was about to say Tyreek Hill.
Guess what? Randy Moss was still better than Tyreek Hill, but Tyreek Hill is fast as fuck. He might be able to keep up with Randy.
Oh, yeah. Hey, but Tony, you know something that, it doesn't matter if you're an older gentleman like yourself or a little baby like our boy JJ, you know what everybody has in common?
What?
You need to shave your fucking balls.
Thank God.
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
You need to shave your balls, bro.
Well, you know what? You don't want your balls to slip through your hands.
Never.
You don't want them to slip through your hands, and you don't want them to slip through her hands. And what you want her to have is a nice, good ticky-tack grip on them. And the way to do that is you get your balls right, and then you get her hands right. And guess what? Randy Moss's hands, way better than DJ Moore hands. I promise you this. But if DJ Moore was grabbing your balls, you want them to be perfect. You want them to be perfect. Randy Moss can reach up and grab any ball. DJ Moore, give him perfect balls. Go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code Panthers. You're going to get 20% off your order plus free shipping. That's right. But not only will you have wonderful balls that not only DJ Moore could catch running wide open and free, but you might not be free. You might need a little liberation. And guess what? You've got ball deodorant. You've got crop refresher. You've got great fucking. I will say this. I do have a qualm with their boxers. They got no pull part. You got to pull them down like a child. I will say that. But guess what?
No, just pee in your pants, dude.
You can just pee in your pants. Just pee your pants. If you know what, you ain't cool unless you pee your pants. But guess what? You are not cool unless you're manscaped. You go to manscaped.com, use the promo code Panthers, you get 20% off plus free shipping. Your balls will be great. They will be caught by the girl that looks at them, by the guy that looks at them. Hey, if DJ Moore looks at your balls, he say, I got him. If Randy Moss looks at your balls, he says, thank God there's no moss on those balls. Look at the north side of those balls. The north side of those balls are clear and clean. Promo code Panthers. Go to manscaped.com. Promo code Panthers. Help us out. Megatron, some people said this. But Megatron just was not like, it's still like, I put him in the top. I put him in the top. Guess what? Is DJ Moore better than Megatron? No. I mean, come on. I'm not trying to shit on DJ Moore. I'm just saying this. And go back, JJ. I did not say he was better, that Brandon LaFell was better than him.
He's probably got 15 more calls waiting anyway.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Let's go to the next call. Your balls are wonderful on the next call. This is from 252 from the Greenville.
Tony, this is Colby from Greenville. What's going on, C3?
My man, this guy, my fave.
Right quick and show some love or my lack thereof for the Panthers currently. I'm sure there's a whole lot of damn crying on the cat calls tonight, so I won't be too powerfully long with mine. My number one issue and problem I'm having right now, boys, is Frank Reich. This was an absolutely god-awful hire, and I am going to pay attention to what I say right now, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I hate this man more already than I ever did Matt Rule.
Oh, no, you can't say it. That's fucked
Frank's
up.
been in the NFL for how damn long?
Too long.
He's already failed at another spot and got fired. I don't care if it was a bad spot. He's already seen what a failure looks like in an organization with the management, play calls, play style, everything.
Yep.
And his insane ass brings that kind of same shit back home to Charlotte.
It's sad that you can even,
5,
this call can be
0-9,
legitimate.
0-13, I don't even know at this point. It's been so bad. And then he has the balls to look the fans in the face and say, well, are you going to keep pounding? No, motherfucker, we are not going to keep pounding. Keep Pounding was built on the shoulders of men with passion that actually play fucking defense and block people and run the ball.
Tell them, Cole.
Until we get to that, keep that shit out of your mouth.
Bro,
have a good night.
The
family.
only way we're going to keep pounding is if we make sure that we use our Manscaped and then we just watch Pornhub from 1 to 4 instead of the Panthers game. In fact, gosh, the only thing that's going to keep... Look, we're about to go bad jokes with the Dolphins keep pounding the Panthers. Let's go to the next call.
Hey, guys, this is Panther Pickle. Wonderful speaking with you.
So glad you're there. I hope you're having a great day, except for the fact that our Panthers stink. But, you know, it is what it is. We're a rebuilding team, so we just have to take the punches and smile and keep on going. Now, the one thing I'd like to recommend is for our illustrious fans not to blame everything on one person. It's not all Bryce Young's fault. It's not all David Tepper's fault. It's not all Scott Fitterer's fault. It's not all Frank Reich's fault. It's not all every player on our roster's fault. There's a bunch of blame to sprinkle out nice and evenly amongst everybody. Now, sometimes people will blame Bryce Young for every mistake out there. And cry because we didn't draft C.J. Stroud. Well, guess what? That boat's done float away. So we just need to quit worrying about who we should have drafted and who we currently have. We have Bryce Young. Bryce Young is not perfect. He doesn't walk on water, and he doesn't heal people by the very touch of his hand. I know it destroys some of our fans, maybe even some in the chat, but it's all right. Reach out to somebody, give them a hug. We still love you anyway. Now, it's not all Frank Reich's fault, even though he is old, and I don't understand why you call 299 screen passes in one game, but nonetheless, it ain't all his fault either, because if you watch the film review, you'll find out that there are open guys out there, and those plays are good. It's just sometimes the ball don't go quite where exactly it should go at all times. And sometimes the quarterback doesn't look to the left or look to the right. Sometimes he stares the receiver down. I know that hurts, but that doesn't mean he's a bust. That means he's a rookie quarterback, and rookie quarterbacks make mistakes sometimes. It just happens. I know it's shameful to think about. Kind of like a child when you're raising a child, and you know about this. You guys know about this. Well, most of you anyway. When you raise a child, they make mistakes. You don't not love them anymore. Sometimes you let them make the mistakes because you know the best way for some people to learn is making mistakes. So you let them make those mistakes, but you're right behind them, ready to pick them up and ready to help them get back on their feet and move forward. Now, I like to say it's everybody's fault, just like Greg did a few days ago when he said it's 25% to each individual issue. I mean, the concept of the large fan base is blame.
Oh, I got cut off.
He did get cut off, and he didn't call him back. So
Appreciate you,
something
Pickle.
to say.
Well, I do want to say something that has to involve the last two callers, my man Panther Pickle and my man Cole. Man, we have been doing these film reviews on the channel right here on the C3 Panthers podcast, and we're looking at the all 22. And the last video that we did was an hour and 30 minutes long. I have a list of notes that I go over and make sure that I'm, looking at the right thing, that I know what play is what. Man, check that out. We're not just making blanket assessments and assertions of this team right now.
We're also trying to learn, too.
Yeah, we're trying to
just
learn.
Say, like, hey, this is what to think. We're learning.
We're all looking
about
at
this
the plays
team as
together.
we go along.
We're looking at the plays together. We're figuring out what we're seeing. Who is open? Is Bryce staring down the receiver? Was there anyone else that the ball could have gone to? What was the play calling? How many guys were there on the defense at the line of scrimmage? The offense of the line of scrimmage? Please check it out, man. Every Thursday, we're dropping the all 22 film review. Please check those out. It's really in depth. We're going into the X's and O's of it. I think you guys will enjoy it, man. We want more and more people to continue to watch these because we're going to do them every week now throughout the entire season.
I also need you guys to message Ben Kirk, former ECU quarterback. He didn't play much for the ECU Pirates, but he was the backup quarterback for the Packers. And he tries to teach football through Madden, which I think is kind of a cool thing. And he doesn't try, but he's like, hey, look at this coverage, and he can do all this stuff. It's really neat. But he gets so many responses. He has his DMs open. I'm like, bro, ECU alum. He put out a tweet saying this, is that he thought that Bryce Young should sit for a full year and learn behind Andy Dalton. Let's social media bully these people into coming on to the C3 Panthers podcast. Go after him, folks. Kirk Ben Kirk. He's your guy. Be like, oh, I love Madden. I'll subscribe to your channel, but you got to come to C3. Go Pirates.
C3 family, it's Cody from Greenville one more time. Going to come at you a little sideways differently this time with something you might not expect me to say or any Panther fan right now. David Tepper has messed up. We all know that. But he's not going any damn where, people. The worst thing that's going to happen is he takes his team and moves elsewhere. So all we can do is pray to God that the next staff he puts in here, which better be next season, I wish it could be right this damn second, turns out to be more intelligent, cognitive, whatever word you want to use right here, and just come out here with better schemes and play calls. Because I'm telling y'all, that is the number one thing that is killing the Carolina Panthers right now. We are down some position players. We are smaller at some positions. I understand that. It's always been like that sometimes. But we have got to change everything on a day-to-day basis, how this whole organization is ran. Because I just don't see any heart, desire, will, determination, whatever other cliche words you want to throw into this shit. Our team is lacking. We are soft. I will say that one more time before I hang up this phone. The Carolina Panthers right now are beyond soft. We have been like it for a while, and we're going to stay like it for a while, and that shit needs to change. And then we can start keeping
scary part of hearing that is some people believe that or argue that teams take on the identity persona of their head coach. And some of the things that we're or at least I am. I don't know if we are. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, I've been very positive about the move to Frank Reich. I was all in. And to be honest, I'm not out yet. And I know it's hard. It's hard for me to argue patience, right? I think each and every week, the idea of him making it to a second season becomes harder and harder to say that it's going to happen. Not maybe if it's not the right thing or the wrong thing. I mean, at some point, do you just let there be blood kind of thing? Do you wonder, he's got the super nice guy mentality. He's super nice. Look, I used to get mad when we first started this podcast. I would get mad as we had seasons that were not this bad of a start with Ron Rivera. But Ron wouldn't be throwing the clipboard. He wouldn't be grabbing people by the face mask. And things were so bad. I just wanted him to show the frustration that we were having. But then there were moments when I learned that that wasn't the right thing to do. Again, I come back to Jonathan Stewart being on the podcast and how important it was that they didn't stop believing themselves in that 2014 season. Ron Rivera, despite all his flaws, the resolve and the unshakable, I'm not going to get flustered, turned out to help. That's why his teams do very well late in the season.
Yeah.
I just wonder is that if you hear, and it's too early, we're 5 games in, we don't know what Frank Reich's teams will be if they really truly take on his identity over the long term. But when you hear people saying they're listless on the road in Detroit, and then someone else goes, I was at the Seattle game, they looked like they were asleep. You know what I'm saying? Like these, I don't know. But I am not happy with that doggishness or the lack thereof that has come with the preacher version of a coach in Frank Reich. Let's go to the next call.
What's up, C3? Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday. Just wanted to call in and, give my thoughts. Not going to talk much about the Dolphins game. We're going to lose that. Not really interested. I mean, of course I'll watch it, but it's going to be an L. Was just on a Twitter space with a ton of people. Got a lot of intel on some stuff. So first, I do want to address what Cody's been going crazy about on Twitter all day. Listen, buddy, I understand you are a CJ Stroud fan. I understand he was your number one quarterback. There's two things. One, there's no guarantee he would do good here. Even if you thought that Frank Reich was CJ's guy, yeah, maybe that would help. But Frank Reich also wanted Derek Carr, according to Joe Person. Okay, so let's not act like his quarterback judgment is this amazing thing. Second thing I want to say is, if he didn't even want Bryce Young, and the reason he didn't want Bryce Young is the reason that he's handcuffing him in the playbook, that's a fireable offense. Because on most draft boards, Bryce Young was the consensus number one quarterback. We heard all offseason how Houston was in love with Bryce Young, and the Panthers just didn't end up trading the pick. Not much else to talk about. So there's that. I know we always disagree, Cody, but you're still my dog. Second thing is that Brian Burns. Okay, I know we talk about this so much, but there's reports coming out about these wide receivers, and every day it seems like Christian Watson now they called about him. They're calling. Listen, I've changed my mind on the sentiment. Don't let Scott Fitterer make another move, because let's see what happens in this 0-6 game. I mean, when we lose this week, that's when some changes are going to happen, I believe. Even Sheena and Vastai from Carolina Blitz, they basically said, they would assume that a move is going to be changed. Maybe Frank Reich's play calling, Scott Fitterer at the door, because they even said it wasn't supposed to start this bad, even if your expectations are low. So this leaks into Brian Burns. A lot of people are saying that they're just going to end up tagging him and putting a price on him, like 2 first-round picks if someone trades for him and they have to pay him. Listen, I would rather see what you can get at the deadline. If we did fire Scott Fitterer, and then we were potentially moving Burns, who, by the way, hasn't even been drafted by Scott Fitterer, and the last GM before him is long gone. See what you can get for him. We need to be sellers at the deadline. I think that's the main consensus with this fan base right now. Being a buyer is awesome, but we have been buyers for low-price deals for too long now, and none of the moves have worked. Chad brought it up. Scott Fitterer's traded away 3 first-round picks if you include DJ Moore as a first-round pick, 3 second-round picks, a third, 2 fourths, a fifth, and a sixth. That's too much draft capital to give up to be 0-6. Anthony from Charlotte, give me your thoughts. Keep motherfucking pounding, boys.
Keep pounding. I'll make my response real quick. Anthony, if your head coach, when picking number 1, wanted a quarterback that the team ended up not drafting, wouldn't you think that would be a big deal? This doesn't have to do anything with what you think about Bryce or what I think about Bryce. But if you don't think it's an issue that now Rich Eisen, Adam Schefter have reported that they have all heard rumors that Frank Reich wanted Stroud and that David Tepper wanted Bryce Young. If you think that's not an important topic for why these Carolina Panthers are so bad right now, bro, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're looking through rose-colored glasses. You think I'm trying to hate on Bryce. Dude, I swear I'm not. I want the Panthers to be good. I want Bryce to be good. But that is a big-time fucking story if our head coach didn't get the quarterback he wanted on his second NFL job, which is probably going to be his last chance at being a head coach in the NFL. So, sorry, man. Calling it like it is.
Yes. Can't stop sneezing.
Sneezing attack over there.
Holy cow.
Bless you.
Well, bless the Panthers. I just want to point out Christian Watson, which I can't stop sneezing. He had 611 yards receiving. He's played in the league 2 years. He had 7 touchdowns with Aaron Rodgers. Right now, he has 116 yards and 1 touchdown. What makes you feel that confident that he is an answer? I gotta go to the next call because I can't stop sneezing. And I can't mute my mic because
What
I
up,
learned
guys?
if I
This is
mute my
Dee.
mic, it mutes.
I'm trying to get in my cat call. Just 2 days removed from a thumping from the Detroit Lions. We kind of all knew that one was coming. We had it
Brand
coming our way.
ambassador.
We hurt them bad last year on Christmas Eve, and they certainly got us back on Sunday. And I wanted to wish everyone here on the C3 Panthers podcast happy Firing Matt Rule Day. This year ago today, we fired Matt Rule, and we may not be happy with the coaching staff right now, but I'm incredibly happy that Matt Rule is no longer in Carolina. We can see the fallout of what he did in his time here. We look at our roster, 34 people are new to that 53-man roster, which just means, they cut the draft picks, they cut the depth, just all kinds of players that Matt Rule and Phil Snow felt were important for that team. Frank Reich and Ejiro Rivera just don't see a place for them here in Carolina moving forward. Another thing that I'm pretty happy about, even though we took that loss, is 250 yards passing for Bryce Young, 3 touchdowns passing in the air. If we think back to our last game of the year last season against the Saints, we only had 22 passing yards, I believe it was, from Sam Darnold. That 250 would have went a long way last season. It was what we were looking for all year long, was that type of passing attack to complement our running game. Also in that game, we lost both of our starting guards. And, Carolina really hasn't been the same since on offense. It's almost like offensive guards are important to what we're trying to do on offense. So go figure that. Another thing I'm happy about, besides the yardage and the touchdowns for Bryce and the development from Bryce, is that he's not Sam Darnold. I watched Sam Darnold for quite a few games, and I'm definitely happy to have Bryce Young over Sam Darnold. Sure, we're taking our lumps with a rookie quarterback. He's got some turnovers. You can make the argument that it cost us a couple games, and it certainly does cost games. You're not supposed to turn the football over. That's one of those rules, right? But there's another rule, too, and it's called stop the run. And Carolina is now like 6th worst in the league. There's only 5 or 6 teams, I think, that are worse than we are at stopping the run. And one of them, of course, is the Broncos. And they've given up like 900 yards rushing already this season. And one of the reasons that is because they played Miami. And we're expecting another thumping coming this Sunday. So maybe it's time to clean the gutters. And maybe you want to rake some leaves, something like that. Because this is going to be an ugly one in Miami, guys. Last time we were in Miami, I remember Cam Newton threw 2 interceptions and had like one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. So I'm really not looking forward to it. But I wish the Panthers would reach out to Marquand McCall, get him back on this team. Surely he can't do any worse at stopping the run as what we're doing now. And this isn't an indictment of Shad Tuttle. I like Shad. He's doing an okay job, but overall the defense isn't stopping the run.
Great call. One
Appreciate
thing
you,
I saw a couple of things. Marquand McCall, someone asked, maybe, I don't know if it was, by the way, Darren Gant in that mailbag. So tired of him just like shit. He's like, oh, of course, here's the fire everybody. Then don't put it in if you're going to say that smart ass comment. But the Panthers, look, Shad Tuttle has only had 1 pressure all year. And he's like had 9 tackles. And so it's not like he's just been lights out. The Panthers coaching staff, when they released McCall, said they had other guys that they thought would be pretty good. And guess what? Those guys haven't done shit. Tell me their names. I don't know who the fuck they are. I have no idea. I know it's Derek, but I do a podcast every week about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I know Derek Brown, Shad Tuttle. I know Brian Burns. I know YGM. And I know that Justin Houston don't do shit. And that's fine. So I think he's got something there. The other thing is that's the way you beat a 3-4 is to run. And I think teams have realized that. Third, the Panthers don't have the personnel right now to be a 3-4 and be really great on defense. That's fine. And I think teams, and I just wonder this, is the reason that the over-under in this game is only 48 is because people think they're going to run the ball. In fact, let's go to Prize Picks. Don't forget, the C3 Panthers podcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. Even though we got to it late in the segment here, it's our favorite. They're our favorite in our heart. And don't worry, we are going to make some prize picks. And look, Anthony, AJ, all these kids play. And you know what? I feel like, Cody, we got to play with your account.
I got it. I'm about to play.
Man, I will play with my account. I got no more promo dollars, but
I have 17.
Oh,
And
I
I
got
did-
one promo dollar, but I will make some plays right now. Who's ready? Are you ready? You want me to, oh, you got it pulled up?
Yeah, man.
All right. How about
You
this?
gotta
If
tell
you
me
go to
which one to look at.
prizepicks.com, use the promo code C3. This is the #1 place to play daily fantasy football sports. The way it works is you got to make at least 2 entries from 2 different teams. That's it. That's the minimum. 2 different entries from 2 different teams, but then you can add on to 3 entries, 4 entries. The more entries you make, the more your winnings can be. You use your fantasy knowledge, your football expertise. For all those people that say, oh, you don't know football, show us. How about that, Mug? The you don't know football person, go to Prize Picks right now. Use the promo code C3 and show me you know football. Football. It's tough picking the Panthers in this right now, but we're going to make a couple of prize picks. Right now, Cody Lack, you like this. Brock Purdy? Is he pretty good?
No, they're playing the Browns, but dude, I'll be damned if the 49ers
They
don't
got a
look
good defense. The
like
Browns defense.
I know. I'm on record. I'm on record for being very high on the Cleveland Browns defense. But dude, that team just they look like a juggernaut, man. They really
Brock
do.
Purdy is playing out
And
of
how
his
about
mind,
this?
dude.
How about this? Brock Purdy, and I know it's still early. Brock Purdy looks like what we want Bryce Young to be.
But with a quarterback size.
But yeah, but no, I mean,
Yeah, and an awesome team around
Brock
him.
Purdy's 5'11".
No,
Brock
he's not.
Yes, look it up. Brock Purdy
He looks
is
way bigger than 5'11".
I know he does.
Brock Purdy is
He does not
5'11".
look
Look it up.
5'10".
While I'm
Wow,
looking up the
5'10" and
Panthers.
5'11", way different. No, that's fine. I didn't realize. I didn't know. And someone I did see. Remember, I told you guys to go and find Kirk Benkert and shame him. He said if Brock Purdy was 6'4" and could throw a 70-yard pass standing still, you would say he was the MVP. But okay, so
Right
Brock
now,
Purdy. But
right
see,
now-
the one thing I worry about this is that is this gonna be a grueling game? Adam Thielen, you think?
I don't know, right? So the pass.
I mean, it's got to be a shootout. They
So
got to
the
pass it a
pass-
lot. I don't dislike this.
Dave says okay, but JJ said Purdy's 6'1". I'm gonna be real with you. I don't fucking believe
He's
it.
not no 5'10", bro. He
Dude,
looks. I
dude,
promise you, he's not.
6'1".
I don't care. Let's go to this. So
Adam
you
Thielen.
like Adam Thielen
Well,
on
I
the
don't know.
more than
I don't know yet. So his
68.5? Easy.
His past 3 games in a row, he's made it over 68.5.
What are they going to be like? Oh, we forgot. Are they going to forget about him?
Well,
And be like, oh,
And Tony, on your little chart that you brought up or that you had in the presentation, the Dolphins defense, for as explosive as their offense is, their defense isn't necessarily quite on par.
they got Xavier Howard still, right? Isn't he still good? Aren't they just going? Aren't you just going to put him on? I don't know. I'm like on this as I just don't like picking Panthers right now. What I would like to do is let's go back real quick. And I know it's late and we should have gotten to this way earlier. Let's go back to the board. I'm not going to make my decision on Adam Thielen yet. Let's make a 5-picker and do a flex.
Picker?
Yeah, and do a flex. We'll do a flex.
All right, you want me to keep Adam Thielen there?
For right now, I might tell you to take it away. I want you to go back to the board. Let's go back to, let's try some.
Yeah,
let's go to something different. Let's go to pass rush and receiving touchdowns. I like this. Go to the pass rush receiving touchdowns.
Pass rush.
Third, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Let's see what that is. Kelsey won. We're worried about him. Pacheco, Who's got Derrick
Derrick
Henry? Is that
Henry,
right? Who's he
Kenneth
playing? He
Walker.
ain't done much lately.
Oh, let me tell you
Kenneth
what.
Walker
I like my boy Trav. I'll tell you that.
against Indy.
Trav's been balling, man.
You know what? Nope. Just go ahead and put Tyreek. Just put Tyreek Hill, bro. That's a given. What, you think CJ Henderson gonna stop this motherfucker? Done. That's a more.
Yeah, we're playing Carolina.
Yeah, that's a more than that's a
Hell
wrap.
yeah,
That's a
bro.
wrap, bro. That's a wrap.
That's easy.
Let's
as
go back
hell,
up. Let's
dog.
go back up. Let's pick some others. We're doing a flex pick this week because I always get into
So right now I'm at 1. I got 4 right now.
Yeah, and I don't love the Thielen one, but I don't hate it. Let's look at interceptions. Is Bryce Young on a
The only thing that sucks about this, and I feel like such a turncoat, Mo. If I pick Bryce,
everybody's gonna fucking come at you. All right, let's not pick Bryce. Don't worry. Let's just look at who's else is. Bryce ain't even an option, so don't worry.
It's still early in the week right now.
No, we don't like that. I don't like those. Let's go back to rushing yards, maybe. Who are rushing attempts?
Where you see that?
Pass rush yards. Yeah, what is rushing?
Oh, they only have
Pacheco.
Pacheco now.
That's too high for me. Pass attempts. Oh, I wonder if Bryce is up in there because we might throw the ball a lot.
No, dude, it's still right now. It's Tuesday. We're early in the week right now.
Okay, but still, let's see who they say. Oh, it's just
Yeah,
Russell.
all they have is Russell Wilson.
Oh, I don't think he throws that much.
I mean, he's playing Kansas
How about
City,
receptions? Let's do receptions next.
Only Cortland Sutton and
Don't
Jerry
love it.
Jeudy.
How
about field goals?
Let's see.
Oh, Justin Tucker.
Tennessee, but I'm still thirsty. I don't feel great about it. They haven't been scoring a lot. Don't feel great. All right, what do we got right now? Let's look at what we got. Let's just make these picks.
Right now,
I like more. Tyreek Hill to me. If you say less, then you're a dummy.
No. And I mean, Adam Thielen. Like
I don't love these picks.
He's our number 1 wide receiver.
All right, let's do it more. I like the less with Brock Purdy, but okay, it's your pick. 284 against the Panthers. He's just gonna light it up, or they gonna run it?
Chat, help me out. Do I need to go more or less on Brock Purdy? Y'all need to help me out. How y'all feeling on
Kev
this?
Kev says Walker rushing yards. Check rushing yards.
I mean,
Walker.
I saw that, but I don't know why. Like, what's so special about it?
Because it's Seattle. Who they playing? 64. Yes, I like that too. Yep, I like that.
The last time I listened to Kev, it did not go well, bro.
Well, guess what? Last time I let his mother listen to me, it didn't go well either. Let's take that one, and I want to get rid of. I got one. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to get rid of that Purdy one, but just add it. Why don't you just add it? And we do all of them.
So
yeah, I like the more on that, and then flex it with 220. I like that. Let's do it. Prize Picks, the number 1 place to play daily fantasy football sports. Use the promo code C3. They're going to give you a 100% deposit bonus on your first deposit up to $100. You put in $100, they give you $100, but you got to use that C3, and you got to go and hang out with us. You talk about Prize Picks. You hang out with us. We discuss all this. We win together. We lose together. We don't lose. Anytime we start losing, we just bet on G Baby's life. It's called the WMBA. The WNBA. All right. Can we go? And we're going to finish these calls out. I would say just a few more, but we got a couple more. Let's go. I'm about to put on plus
hey, what's good,
half
y'all?
speed.
For Cody, I saw the tweets on Twitter saying you ain't a Panthers fan, you ain't this, for hating on you. Man, don't listen to them. We appreciate what y'all do. We appreciate what y'all do. You're a good person, bro. You're a genuine, honest Panther fan. I appreciate what you do, man. Keep doing you and don't listen to the haters. Now, on fucking Scott Fitt, I fucking hate this guy so much. Like, his moves just reek incompetence. He's so fucking trash. Just reeks incompetence. When you look at the running back, We signed Miles Sanders for fucking $25 million. You know who we could have got? Instead of DJ Johnson, 25-year-old project, we could have drafted Devon A-Chain.
Yes,
One pick after.
four
And
picks
then
later
Chandler
than
Zavala, one of the
DJ
worst tackles
Johnson.
ever, or guards ever. Roshan Johnson was the next pick. And wide receiver, you got rid of our only wide receiver. And Thielen's been good, but rest, Hurst, Chark, everyone else we brought has been horrible. Maybe besides Von Bell. Von Bell and Thielen, everyone else has been horrible. Like, I don't understand how we still jump. He needs to be fired today, bro. What are we tanking for? We have nothing to tank for. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
good call, man. Thank you so much. Great call. Let's go to the next one.
Thanks for the support,
Hey,
too,
Stats
brother.
here.
This is Stats.
I now think, I mean, seeing all of everything kind of coming to fruition, especially this week with all of the clips and going back and people finding things of Tepper saying things before the draft and after the draft, and then Frank's kind of not speech, but when he was talking about Tepper and how there's two types of owners. I mean, he physically puts his hand up and is like, "Stay away." And I think he wants Tepper to stay away, but that's not what's happening. Tepper kind of went the opposite way that he did with Rule, where he gave Rule the keys to the kingdom, and then it looks like he wants to be a lot more involved in this offense, well, in this coaching staff and everything. I do think Frank did want CJ. It seems pretty apparent from the videos they took where he's smiling big and taking phone videos. I think Tepper strong-armed GM to take Bryce, and I think Frank might be a little deflated. And I think he's not trying. It doesn't look like he's trying as hard as he probably could be. But the other problem there is that he's too calm about all the errors, and I think that's trickling down into like the leadership and things like that.
I think he's defeated more than calm.
And then, of course, you saw them playing ping pong after the losses.
The worst.
Kind of thinking, what the hell? Maybe do something else. I don't know. Focus on the loss. I got 72% win Dolphins, and then 70% Texans win, and 67% with the
That's
Colts.
wild.
Although
Think
that
about
was assuming
this.
AR was going to play.
Now it's
So
going to go
we'll
up.
see. I'm sure
It's going to
those
go up on
games
my
will
boy
kinda change
Mansu.
in percentages depending on how we do this week. Anyway,
That's Stats running a bazillion models.
counting, I guess.
And all the models are saying we see what we're seeing. Next call.
Yo, it's my chocolate espresso. I'm hearing that Tepper overruled all the coaches and wanted Bryce. My question is, what's the point of hiring an offensive guru and this offensive super team if you're not going to listen to him? There's no fucking point to it. Hey, this guy knows a lot about coaching, a lot about quarterbacks.
He played
I'm not gonna
quarterback.
listen to him. That's real smart.
Because he's a billionaire, man. You don't listen to nobody. It's like being a wife.
And listen, for the people blaming Frank Reich's play calling, listen, I don't like Frank Reich's play calling. I've been, through the off season, I didn't want Frank Reich at all. But at the same time, we are -4 in turnover differentials. We have 8 turnovers to 4 takeaways. You're not going to win games, bro. When you get 3 turnovers to 0, you're not winning games. That's just facts. His play calling has nothing to do with Miles Sanders holding the ball, or Bryce throwing interceptions, or fumbling. And yes, he does have a turnover problem. Cody's right on that. He needs to fix it. He will fix it. I believe in it. But fuck, 0-5. I mean, we complain about weapons. He needs weapons. He needs weapons. We traded him all away. And we knew we
Oh my
had
God,
to be
I'm so
shopping
tired.
at the
Oh, you're
Walmart
right. We
bargain
traded
bin
Randy Moss
this year.
away.
We knew it. We had to take whatever we can get. We had a bag on Thielen here, which, by the way, fucking baller. Hasn't dropped a pass. Has more yards per catch, after.
Best ping pong
DeAndre
player on
Hopkins.
the team.
Less drops than DeAndre Hopkins. He's been killing it.
And has anybody even heard DeAndre Hopkins'
I mean,
name?
Brian
and
Burns
I
right
haven't
now
seen him
has
nowhere.
13 pressures, which is 35th in the league. But he's like top 10 in sacks. He's 8th, I believe.
Brian
So I
Burns
don't
is
know what that
missing,
means,
bro.
but it's not good that he's only getting like one good pressure or one good pass rush a game. I don't know, but that's my thoughts. Peace.
Look at this. We'll go to the next call. Max Crosby, though, coming off a game of his life, or killing ass, beating ass.
Yeah.
He's leading the league and all this shit. He said this. This is what I was born to do, baby. And you know what? He's like, nah, I ain't taking Max Crosby numbers. They inferior to me. Max Crosby
What's up,
said,
C3? Okay, this is a quick part two for Cody and JJ.
Oh my
Dude,
god.
I don't know what you guys want me to say, man. I really don't. Okay.
Say you're
if
sorry.
It's true. Frank Reich didn't want Bryce Young. He wanted CJ Stroud. Guess what? He also wanted Derek Carr, according to Joe Person, another washed-up mid-tier retread. Just because you wanted
Yeah, they
CJ
told him
Stroud
no,
doesn't make
then
you think of him any
scout
higher
the
as a coach.
quarterback.
Listen, I've admitted, Bryce hasn't played good. He's one of the problems. I still think he's not the major problem. We've had major problems before he even got here that we all knew about. So what does this do, Cody? This theory doesn't do anything for anyone. Like, it doesn't. If you're pissy wit that we didn't pick CJ Stroud and that quote unquote
Why do you
Bryce's
think that not
deficiencies
matters
are the reason we're
organizationally,
losing games,
Anthony?
which everyone knew, Thomas Brown, everyone knew that he was 5'10", 195 pounds, and he still went number one overall. If you're upset that he's our quarterback and we didn't get Stroud and Reich wanted this guy, then go get it. Go be a Texans fan. Enter the
That's
transfer
such a
portal.
lame
Go buy a
argument,
CJ
dude.
Stroud jersey. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's a lame
We're losing
argument.
fans at this rate, anyways. Like, you're letting this shit get too. You're caring too much about this, man. Like, come on,
You're
man.
not
It's
caring
not that
enough.
serious. I just don't get why y'all act like I'm not understanding that Bryce hasn't played good. Like, I've admitted that on every single catch
That's
call,
not
every
even the
single
point.
free-for-all. I've said he hasn't been good. He hasn't lived up to being the truth. I also said I thought from the beginning he would become the truth over time. I didn't say any success was to be had this season. I still don't get where this narrative is coming from that, I don't want to admit that Bryce is playing bad because, it's his deficiencies or a laundry list of
You're
reasons that
missing it
everything's
by a
not Bryce's
mile,
fault.
Anthony.
I've admitted Bryce has played bad. I don't know what else you guys want me to say. I'm not in the front office. I don't get paid millions of dollars anyways. Guess what? I'll tell you what I would have done if I was in the front office, though. I would have tanked, naturally got Bryce Young, kept our offensive weapons, which, by the way, Cody Lack said that CMC and DJ Moore were replaceable. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
If you
Should
can
have
draft
traded Brian
those
Burns, by the way.
positions.
That's what I would have done. I would have put weapons around Bryce Young, then see maybe, if he would play better, which he probably would. Again, he hasn't lived up to the number one pick type. I don't know what you guys want me to say. Just be happy that CJ Stroud's in a competent organization and you didn't have to deal with this shit show. Anthony from Charlotte, this is my part 2. Keep pounding.
So, Anthony, this is what you're missing. It has nothing to do with the way Bryce is playing. It has nothing to do with the way CJ is playing. It doesn't help the optics. But what you're missing is that David Tepper came out of pocket more than any other owner would for this specific coaching staff. He thought that these were going to be the men to deliver this team to the promised land. And you're going to tell me it's not at all a big deal that Rich Eisen and Adam Schefter have heard multiple rumors that the coaching staff that we have in the building didn't want the quarterback that we moved up to number 1 to take. Bro, what are you smoking on? If you don't think that is a big deal and something worth talking about, then, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. It points to the fact that our owner is forcing his football ideals and opinions onto the coaching staff that he just brought in to right this ship. Dude, that is red flags all over it, man. All over it. And it's a big time deal.
Next call.
Hey guys, it's John B. Jenkins.
And man, I just want to say how much I appreciate you guys, because I think at this point I'm probably more a fan of the C3 Panthers podcast and knowing all my friends and everybody out here on the show.
Baby. Community,
than
brotherhood.
I am of actually watching the damn team we all root for.
I
I mean,
know, it's tough.
I live and die with the Panthers. They're my team. Don't get me wrong, but I guess the years of Matt Rule has just desensitized me to
hope,
just expecting anything out of this team at this point. I don't know. We're 0-5, but I still get excited when I see that notification pop up for YouTube that says C3 Panther Podcast is playing. So I just wanted to call in and say that Tony, Cody, Greg, CK, I mean, all you guys out in the chat, you're great, and I love you guys.
Thank you.
You're my
We
family.
love you, man.
So let's all just keep pounding. I'm sure we're going to turn this thing around.
We'll be
This
here.
is our team. We can't give up on them. But I'm just glad I get to go through this with all you guys.
Let me take this call.
So let's keep pounding. And, yeah, anyway, I'll listen in.
Jim Irsay got a lot of shit for saying to Jonathan Taylor that the NFL will be here when he's not. Well, guess what? Whether you like any of our positions on any player, whether you think Bryce Young is going to be the truth or not, whether or not Frank Reich works out or doesn't, C3 Panthers podcast is going to be here, baby.
Always.
And we do it because that right there, because you know what is that's what gets us through. We have created, and not we, it's not just we have like made this and it doesn't exist. We are a community. I don't want to be like, oh, I did this, you did that, but no, your energy, your effort, your time, that right there. Again, I didn't know what to say about this show tonight. Cody, you got nervous. You were like this. You messaged us in the chat, and I was just getting on the computer. He's like, oh, I gotta hook up, put up everything together. I was like, don't worry, baby. Don't worry. I didn't even say nothing. I wasn't going to say nothing. I was going to do nothing. I was like, I already said that. I just set the show up. I just did the thumbnail. I'm up to fuck with all of this. But guess what? We're sitting here looking. I'm scouring the fucking internet. Like, what the fuck? Where am I putting this and that? It's 12:08 and we still got calls to go. We got shit to do, man. That's because y'all are the best. Let's go.
Yo, what's up, C3? It's MDJ365.
My man, what's up?
MDJ, what's up, brother?
I watch y'all all the time. You probably seen me or heard me on some other podcasts.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
pretty much everywhere where there's Panther fans.
Get after it.
I got
We
a
need
theory. I just want to throw it out there. I want it to be heard. I hope this happens. I just want y'all to tell me if y'all would like that or if y'all think it's possible or,
Yes.
you know. So I
I
say,
don't know.
Steve Wilson in San Francisco.
Oh, no.
I think he wins a Super Bowl with San Francisco as defensive coordinator.
Mm-mm.
I think David Tepper
crawls
on his knees and asks him to come back home
No way.
and coach the Carolina Panthers. I hope this happens. I think Steve Wilkes loves the team. He loves the city. The players love him. I think a lot of fans want him to be the coach. I think it's going to happen. What y'all think?
Nah, he got done wrong. He's in a lawsuit. He got a white coach hired over him after all of the stuff with the lawsuits. No, David Tepper. I wouldn't come work for David Tepper. If I was Steve Wilkes and I win a Super Bowl, I would just be like this. You know what? I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to stay right here with this great team. And I'm not saying that Steve Wilkes wouldn't be open to taking a head coaching opportunity, but no, I don't think the Panthers did him in terribly wrong. I'm tired of the we could have had Steve Wilkes and Foreman talk. Like, that's the same as I'm tired of saying we could have picked Stroud. We could have Like, it might as well talk about bringing Cam Newton back. Talk. It's just not what happened. And I think that bridge has been burnt. And not only do I think it's been burnt, I just think it wouldn't be healthy for anybody. I don't think it would be healthy for the Panthers to be like that. I don't think it would be healthy for the league. You think the NFL is going to let them do that?
No.
Imagine the league might as well just settle.
I mean, if you're Steve Wilkes, you probably want to go to a different organization. I mean, if you're
I want to
hiring,
stay with the 49ers. Fuck that. I want to stay and win championships for the
I mean,
next
if he
10
wants to
years.
be a head coach in his career, then you gotta go where the opportunities are.
Denver. All right, let's go to the next call.
Hey guys, it's the growl that makes them howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther. Yeah, first of all, I've been saying, I think it was last week's post game, I said, yeah, dude, they wanted Stroud. Like, I said that, and then Cody agreed with me, and then we moved to the next call, I guess. I think that's what happened, but I know I said it, and we moved to the next call. But, I mean, if you want and done Frank Reich, I was thinking about this at work today. If you want and done Frank Reich, the league respects Frank, okay? Frank may not be having the best year right now. No one's saying that. Matter of fact, people say the opposite. He's having, like, probably one of the worst years of his coaching career right now.
The worst.
If not the worst. But the league has respect for the man. If David Tepper, and by extension, Scott Fitterer, who's David Tepper's pussy-ass yes man, little bitch. Anyway, but David Tepper through him, if they won and done Frank Reich, the league is going to have a problem
No,
with
they're
that.
not.
No one's going to want to come here. No coach is going to want to come here. We saw what you did to our man Frank. Why would we come and let you do that to us?
You
No,
paid
you're not
his
gonna set us
ass.
up
You
for
paid him
success
$1
'cause
billion and
we know
said
your hands
sorry.
are going to be arm deep in the pot. So that's what you're going to get if you want to done Frank Reich. And for Bill Belichick, like Rich Eisen was saying, or he wasn't really suggesting
No. That was we didn't
one
mean
and
for
done
that to get
Frank
out.
Reich for Bill Belichick, really. I think Bill Belichick has Alzheimer's right now because he's coaching like a fucking idiot. I mean, he knows better than the shit that he's coaching right now.
They're a mess.
34-0
Twice.
with
2 weeks in a row.
against the Saints, who aren't a good team. Come on, dude. No, I'm not hiring Bill Belichick. I think I would quit being a fan if they hired Bill Belichick. Honestly.
Yeah.
But,
No, don't
Bill
worry.
Belichick
That was not
only
what
good
we
because he
meant.
had Tom
I
Brady.
wish I would have
Everybody
cut
knows
that out of the
Kyle
clip.
Shanahan's the real greatest coach in football. Anyway, guys.
Row. All right, next call. Only 2 more. I would say only 2 more, but it's 12:13.
I know I called already, but I'll be quick.
He said I'll be quick. This is a 3-minute
again,
call.
The homework assignment for this week is to go watch that Cam RG3 interview through the whole totality of it and listen to all of it.
I don't want to hear Cam
because
anymore.
It does start to answer a lot of questions that we always kind of wondered about with the organizational structure and Tepper and how that looked before and after. And it's very, very valuable to listen to those kinds of things bounced off RG3 and have both their opinions on it. And of course, Cam had insight, direct knowledge of a lot of this kind of stuff. And he's the type of person, he's not going to just make shit up to appease anyone. We can tell, we know he's pretty flat out going to be real as shit about stuff.
Especially his
and I think
dick.
I'll just leave it at that. Well, maybe I'll add one more thing. To clarify the context of what I put in earlier about Cam talking about the playbook, Tony, you kind of did what you said right after reading that comment, kind of validated this even more so, simplifying. And Cam was talking about, if you watch this thing, Cam was talking about how complicated that they were making the playbook for things, where just not necessarily playbook itself, but like the word call, the names
I
of
agree with this.
the plays, and like
Yeah,
you don't need to
just
have
so
this
dumb. how-
convoluted Y-gun trips left alert on like all this extra bullshit, where they started to simplify and use like one word terminology for things, which
I
if
think
you
that's
look at
just
it,
smart,
there's a couple
period.
times, I mean, it's often that we've seen things where the play call comes into Bryce at like 28 seconds already off the clock or something like that on the play off the play clock, and Bryce is fumbling around. They got to call timeout, and I don't know. And then I guess the other last thing to mention is that it's kind of, I mean, it should be so clear as day right now that Frank needs to just step down from the play calling. But here's the thing.
Can't do it.
Why
dude.
not even just try it for one fucking game?
Because
we already
you can't
we
go
lost
back.
all
That's
5
like
games.
sitting Bryce
I
for a
mean,
game.
you know, how much worse could it possibly be? Why is he so stubborn? Why can't he just be like, all right, you know what? Let's try one game. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. I think it'd work out well because he'd get to
it's
stick to
admission
only,
that
you know,
you're
having to
not
call
the
the damn
guy.
timeouts and throw the challenge flag and say whether or not we're going for 2 points or 1 point on conversions. But other than that, I mean, I think it would take some stress. Then he wouldn't have to know who's in the fucking game and not which calls are, you know, leaving Terrace Marshall out.
I think you're right about this. Is just overall that right now is I think the mistakes that are coming from Frank Reich are coming from him trying to be a head coach and a play caller at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm trying to manage the game. I'm trying to do all this, and that is complicated. It's very difficult. But again, I just think it's like this is once you started Bryce, you got to stick with him. Once you took and we should, and if this was a concern about this, is Frank Reich should have made Thomas Brown the play caller from the beginning and then taken the play calls away from him. You can't give it to him. Then you're going to get fired. You're going to get fired because if it goes worse, you're getting fired anyway.
Right.
If it goes any better, then you aren't part of the solution. I think it's an untenable situation. You have to stick with it. You dug the trench like Greg. You got to stick with it. You got to hope that your trench is right. Last call of the night, and then we got to get the fuck out of here. We got to ice up these mugs.
No. Apparently, I got called back
JJ.
because this is some horse shit for DJ Moore, man. Why do y'all always just want to compare him to Randy Moss?
You were the one that
Why
compared
is it
him to Randy
anytime I
Moss.
try and
No,
bring
I'm
him
not
up
listening
as
to
a
this.
player?
I'm not listening to this. Should we listen to
You know what's hilarious?
I did compare him to
No,
Randy Moss.
listen. You know what's hilarious? I'll leave it up to you. Oh, by the way, I needed to do this. Nirvash donated $10.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
He said, I hate that I see almost no emotion from Frank or Bryce that has the effect on other players. If you don't have inspirational leaders, that's a handicap for the team. And then JJ, he left another call, talk DJ again, but also iced up myself at the end. So play the whole call.
All right, we'll play it. All right, fine. Just because of that.
Y'all want to be like, but he's not Randy Moss. What the fuck? Like, what is that? Why is that that's what y'all want to say to bring down when I mentioned we lost our best player this past offseason?
I agree.
When we lost a real wide receiver one that we was holding back. You know, I'll never understand why the DJ Moore disrespect. And like, Tony was immediately like, is he better than Steve Smith? Nobody said he was better than Steve Smith.
You
so
said he was better than fucking Randy Moss.
Go out of your way to chip and disrespect and just throw DJ Moore under the bus because he's the quiet guy who doesn't do all this celebrating and this and that. And he wasn't the most flashy. But yeah, we just fucking, I don't know. It's just okay to bash him, even though he was our best player for like several years. And easily our most consistent
It's better
and
than Randy
reliable
Moss. You're
player
right.
from a week-to-week basis. But it's whatever, man. You know, he's on the new team. He's about to have a career year in another dog shit situation. But hey, it's cool. Tony's gonna sit there and be like, "Yo, he had 150 yards in wide open grass.
It's true.
Jesus Christ!
Just
I wonder
fucking go
why he
watch
was
the
in
game.
wide open grass.
Because
Maybe
the
he
fucking
broke
they
an
didn't
extra
defend him.
tackle. Maybe because he made a high point catch over his defender. Maybe because he's a
Best
great
catch
yards
of the
after the
game.
catch receiver. I don't know. Anything outside of crediting DJ Moore is Tony's method of logic and thinking, because crediting DJ Moore is impossible for him. But yeah, ice up to you. And white chocolate, you damn right. I'm
Sounds
gonna
like he
ice
iced
up myself
me up.
for talking all that shit this offseason about Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen's still that man. He's playing like he's
That's why
like
we
he's
had to
getting
listen to
2-3
this
years
shit.
younger by the day, honestly. Like, that man's been putting in work. Granted, he's been force-fed, but hey, it is what it is. Keep pounding, C3. Thielen been balling this year, and arguably is our best player.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Man, this mug just said this. He wanted to apologize for insulting Adam Thielen. But then he's like, Tony, I didn't say he's better than Randy. You fucking said Randy. That's it, man. JJ, you're young,
Hey,
you're
shout
young buck.
Shout out
Bro.
to JJ and Anthony, the young guns keeping us on our toes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
no. Somebody in the chat says, who is DiCaprio Boodle?
oh, I love that dude. He was in Titanic. That's the
we didn't
that's
get
the
to
same
put this.
dude,
We
right?
didn't do it this, but this is DiCaprio Booty.
DiCaprio booty.
I like how if you use Canva and you put in booty, is black girl.
Canva's so racist,
but you
bro.
ain't got a problem with that coded language.
Maybe she's
that's not coded. That's
maybe she's Latina too.
You're right. You're right.
Maybe she got some of them
look,
refried beans buns.
That's the
you know what I'm
C3
saying?
Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions. Usually we hit the news, but here I want to say this is we got some merch. JJ, shut the hell up. You can check that Panther Pickle shirt out at CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You can find the information in the show notes. If you're listening on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, make sure you smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, give us a rating. The podcast mug, the C3 Panthers podcast mug is dope. The podcast shirt is great. All of these are next level shirts. And how about this, JJ? You make me fucking sick. The G-Baby line is out there. Check that out. G-Baby quiet. G-Baby missing in action. Don't forget the Falcons acquired Van Jefferson, the guy that some people think we should have traded for. And look, rental. Who cares? The Falcons out there trying to win the division. We ain't. Don't worry. Some injuries out there. James Conner. Good news for the Carolina Panthers that they don't have to face Devon Achane. A-Chain. Oh, dude, that's even a doper name. We should have drafted that motherfucker.
I know. He's like a sprinter level dude out of Texas.
But sadly, we got to deal with 7 other sprinter level guys on that team. Max Crosby doing his thing more than Brian Burns. Justin Jefferson hamstring, not feeling so great. And that's it. Now it's to the Ice Up Picks, the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. When I say the longest running Panthers podcast, we are 3.5 hours into this bitch, and we ain't even hit the latest segment. We rushing through shit. We didn't even hit all our topics that we wanted to talk about, but we are going to ice some fools up. Cody, let's ice these mugs up. JJ should be my pick.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Up, son. Ice up, son. This is the time where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up to get it together. It is our homage to Steve Smith. Anyone is fair game. This goes from football to outside of football to personal life. I've iced up myself, to my wife, to a 12-year-old in Oklahoma. I guess I got to ice up a 19-year-old in Illinois or wherever JJ is, but I'm going to let him, Louisville. I'm going to let him off the hook. Cody, you got one. I only got one. So I want you to go, and then I'll ping pong off of you. I got one, and that's it.
Well, I've got two, so I'll
That's
do
great.
one. And CK, if you got one, let me know or let us know. So one, shout out to just mine is a theme, right? Shout out to tough women doing it big, but also this bodyguard probably needs to change of profession. Also, look at how cold what this dude says is to this girl. It's in Russian. She says, "What did you say?" And then he says,
Instagram'da.
probably something about your teeth. And he
Damn.
says it so cold-blooded, but watch what happens next.
Oh shit.
Fucking judo tossed his ass.
Алтыншы маған не
Dude.
айтқан едің?
Сің туралы айтқанша? Probably something about your
Сің
teeth.
туралы айтқанша? Брат, нырок, делай нырок.
Damn. That bitch ain't fucking around. Don't talk about her teeth. Ice
Hell
up.
no.
Ice up that guy's hip.
Yeah, so to that security guard who got made.
That was not a security guard. That was her husband.
No, the guy that she flipped. That was
her husband. He was sitting on the
security guard
couch
the
beside
set.
her. Okay.
No. The guy came from offset to try and
Okay.
get her
Look
off.
like a guy sitting beside her. Man. All right.
Yeah, but to him, you probably need to find a new profession, homeboy. Ice up, son.
All right. CK, you got one?
Yeah, mine's a bit of a downer, but I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I don't know if you guys have watched any of the footage from the invasion from Hamas on Israel. It's absolutely despicable. And so I'm icing up Hamas and the invaders in Israel because I don't know that in my life I've seen, at least myself, seen anything more evil than what I saw in those videos that happened there. So I'm icing up that shitstorm that could very well start another geopolitical war.
Oh, yuck. All right. My ice up is a little less frightening than that, but actually terrifying. This guy is at Billy Hot Takes. He tweets this out. This was October 9th, 2 days ago. He said, "The meat's talking tonight, and it's got well, he fucking didn't use he used a important message. After 3 weeks of having he does not know. Somebody's got to tell this mug that when you follow the word a or an with a vowel, it's got to be an an. So the meat's talking tonight, and I'm going to read it the correct way. The meat's talking tonight, and it's got an important message. After 3 weeks of having a acupuncture needle in my ear, having zero allergic reactions to dairy or bacon, I can finally eat red meat again without the fear of an allergic reaction." I got it right there. The Lone Star tick that bit me and gave me alpha gal syndrome, a red meat allergy, didn't win. I'm back eating red meat. Let the meat talk and show I'm never taking red meat for granted again. I've even seasoned it a little. Crazy that an allergist was like, "You'll never eat red meat again," but the acupuncturist got me right. Well, bro, what you got wrong was cooking this steak with no salt and pepper on this motherfucker. That's where my ice up comes in. He said, "I even seasoned it a little bit." What the fuck? You didn't season it a little bit. You didn't season it at all. I see like you looked at it and said, "I want to season you." And that meat looked back at you and said, "Oh, you missed me. And now you want to do me wrong like that?" Salt and pepper, motherfucker. Salt and pepper. First step with any cooking period. But damn, to under-season this meat like this is criminal. I say ice up.
Ice up. I will say that doesn't even look marinated either, so it's not even like you can use that as an excuse.
Salt and pepper and sear. Salt, pepper, sear. Salt, pepper, sear.
So there's a theme of women on mine tonight. One was tough women. One was a super tough woman, And this involves women who think they are much tougher than they actually are.
Oh God.
Now, let me make sure I got the volume up.
Gosh.
Today we're going to be eating the Carolina Reaper pepper. These are the world's hottest peppers.
Dude, you're not even ready.
Show us your boobs. Show us your boobs. Show us your boobs. I still want to see these girls' tits. Even though-
It's still burning. She's just sitting here drooling.
Lay back.
Holy shit.
Lay back.
Are you okay?
No, she's gonna
That
have to
wasn't
go
a
to the
good idea.
hospital.
Holy
Please show
hell.
us your boobs still.
I'm sorry. I'm going to put them down.
Damn. I didn't think I hurt that bad.
Yes, it does.
Not good. This is not fucking good.
You TikTok motherfuckers.
You feeling any better?
What is on her face? Like an orthodontist mask?
No, she has like a BiPAP on or something. Wow, dude. Hey, listen. Hey, you mess with the bull, you get the horns, man.
Video would have been better if you showed us your tits still. That's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Every Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions. We're here, whether you are or not. Actually, you're here, motherfuckers. If you're listening, you hear me, you the best. You the best. No ice up to you. No ice up to you. You're the crew. But guys, we've got a bunch of weeks ahead of us. And when I say a bunch of weeks ahead of us, we've got how many more games? 12 more games?
Too many.
12 more games, but don't worry. I would say don't worry. You think that's scary? These motherfuckers, these guys right here are going to be here every Tuesday, Friday night for the rest of your lives, bitch. Come on. C3 Panthers podcast. Smash the thumbs up, subscribe. You see the handles at @cat_chronicles, at Cody Lack, at Codizzle_Allen. Cody Lack, take us out of here, my man.
C3 Nation, until next time, keep pounding.